Bleacher Report, multiple NBA executives believe the Mavericks could pursue Sun center DeAndre Ayton in an offseason trade. Mercury center Brittany Griner was given a warm reception in her return to Footprint Center and put up 27 points in Sunday's loss to Chicago. Diamondbacks outfielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. extended his hitting streak to 14 games in yesterday's win over the Pirates. They begin a series with the Phillies today with Tommy Henry on the mound. I'm Frank Garrity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center for all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs.
All right, we're 30 seconds to the open, guys.
Plenty of sunshine out there with temperatures right at 100 degrees. And then for tonight, clear skies with those temperatures dipping down into those low 70s. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Ty Brennan.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? Need Indeed. The hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates in one place. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900 and always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now,
You guys are hot.
Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. We say good afternoon to you on a Monday as we broadcast live from Casino, Arizona. The gang is all here. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910, also on 99.9 FM HD2 and on the iHeartRadio app. And what a wild and crazy sports weekend it has been, and we are going to get into all of it. Manuch, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I'm just so excited that the Cardinals are starting OTAs this week. I can't wait to get the updates from the rookie head coach and Jonathan Gannon. It was a great weekend as far as hoops, but I'm just sitting here with bated breath to find out, is Colt McCoy going to throw this week? Is he not? Hell, they got like 25 different quarterbacks that are in. You got D-Hop now reporting, so it's just a very curious week for the Arizona Cardinals. Aside from that, it's a great weekend.
There you go.
Always a great weekend.
You like OTAs because that's when you got to actually throw, right? I mean, OTAs are like you look forward to OTAs.
Brother, Rock, truth to be told, damn Skippy. I could not wait for mini camp.
They were like Christmas in May.
Well, or training camp. I got all the reps because Fergie's good. So Manuch are giving you all the reps. You get most of the playing time. OTAs, I'm going to shine. I'm going to be All-American half pads. I'm going to hit every throw. And you know what, guys? I was money with those OTAs.
Second team All-American?
I might have been pushing first team.
Come on.
Yeah, I might have been pushing
your
first team.
second team All-American OTA.
Anytime you're my quarterback coach, good throw, Danny. I like every other throw. As opposed to every other throw, that was damn good. So, yeah, man, you couldn't wait to get in there and show off, so to speak, because the only times I had a chance to show off or shine, OTAs and training camp. Couldn't wait for training camp. I got to keep my job, man.
Whereas most players can't stand
they can't.
But Manuch, he's number one in OTAs.
Dan Skippy. Those guys drag around in minicamp and OTAs. I'm like, Frank Lewis, he's a 10-year vet at receiver. Frank, could you run that route a little harder? This is my job on the line, not yours.
Man.
So he'd give me that. Manuch, just simmer down over there. Yeah. Simmer down. So excitement abounds at the Cardinals complex.
All right, Spence, let's go.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players. In an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Top story is these guys can't drive unless I'm here.
That's it.
I mean,
we got it every week.
I know. And our ratings just take, they hit the crapper, Tuesdays and Wednesdays when I'm not here. Because I'm like, I don't understand why just once I could do a show with you two guys and not have to be my name being on the marquee first.
All right,
why can't it go like one day we reverse it, go
lunch.
Jimmy B, Manuch with Rock.
Because
That way I can just sit back and just cruise like you guys do.
it would drive you nuts.
Yes, it was.
No, I'm asking you. I'm like, why? Like today on a Monday, a React Monday that I can just sit back and listen to Jimmy B with those pipes, kind of tell me about the Diamondbacks celebrating their second straight road series win, or maybe the OTAs getting started, or maybe the ASU get the new commitment, or maybe it's a Pac-12 baseball tournament getting underway tomorrow. I would love to just sit back and listen like the rest of the folks.
All right,
you, Manuch.
All right, just hang in.
Go ahead.
That's right, and bring that solid commentary every time. But Rock, we might be in the crapper, but that's a good thing because the crapper's needed each and every day by everybody in America. So everybody needs their Manuch and Jimmy B, their fill when you're not here. Put that in your freaking pipe and smoke it, huh?
I don't think I've ever been compared to the crapper before.
I wasn't really comparing you guys.
He did.
He basically just said, yes. We got a crappy show, and we're in the crapper. I didn't ever say that. I was just kind of comparing ratings when I'm here compared to ratings when I'm not here. And I never said anything that the show was crap.
And I made that whole thing with you says I spun it for a positive side.
How? How? Talking about the show. If you're just tuning in, Dude said the show sounds like crap.
Right, because we all need it. We need it every day. Right there. So you need rockets. You need Manuch.
How many days a week? How many times a day do you have to crap?
Probably twice.
Do you?
Yeah.
At least. Wake up like right in the morning. You got to go right to it.
Kind of, sort of, right there. It's healthy.
Jimmy, you're a little guy. You're probably one, maybe one.
I'm one.
Yeah. I'll do.
It's a well-needed type of thing. I also found out from a poop doctor about 15 years ago.
No.
He said, if you're this honest got truth. No. He was at an AIM conference. He sat next to my daughter. I was emceeing the AIM conference.
And so you're emceeing a crap convention?
No. At the Athletes International Ministries Conference, I was at. And Dr.
I let that alone.
Dr. So-and-so, who is the official poop doctor. Matter of fact, his signs were around the town.
Official poop doctor?
Exactly. He said, if the poop floats, that's healthy. So if you do that, if your poop floats, it means you're getting a lot of.
I wish this was a radio.
Why did you start? Why did you even bring this up, Rock?
Because I knew this is where it would go.
Oh my God! Right in the toilet.
But my daughter
really did. It just flush it down now. So you're telling me, are you healthy, Manuch?
I'm very healthy.
So you're telling me you are so full of crap right now. Literally, you're telling me that when you crap, it floats.
Majority of the time.
No way.
Yeah,
it does,
folks. Come on.
And he gave that nugget to my daughter.
How could it float? It's so heavy. It got to go to the bottom.
Well, occasionally, but most of the time,
Dude,
I'm very healthy.
You're telling me that your crap floats?
Oh my
God. Times, yes. At times.
There's no way. I want you to the next time. I want it. Yes, I will, because I think you're full. You know what?
I crap.
Yeah, you totally are.
Not right now.
If there's ever been a time, there's no way something that weighs something is going to float. It doesn't have a little life preserver on it. There's no way. According to
the poop doctor, circa night was that.
I don't care about your poop doctor. I'm just talking in general.
Yeah,
poop don't float.
Yeah, it does. It does. I've had many times where it floats.
Google it, Jax. Do something right now. You just Google it. Does poop float?
It does.
There's no way.
It does at times, and I've had it at times.
It's the stupidest conversation ever, but it's still there's no way in hell.
You're the one that said that when Jimmy and I host the show in the crapper, I said, well, everybody needs needs Jimmy and Manuch because it's needed. The crappers need it every day, so they need to get their fill of Manuch and Jimmy B each and every day.
All right, let's go. Let's fact check this.
Go ahead.
So Google tells me that poop is denser than water and usually sinks, but it can float if it contains too much fiber, fat, or gas.
There you go.
So you're totally full of crap.
Exactly right.
Right there.
A lot of fiber and a lot of water. And he was, I went, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, so there you go, Rock. It does float.
Oh, my God.
That's what they say.
I need proof.
That's what
I can't imagine ever. I fiber like crazy and protein, everything.
Get your fill of fibers and water and veggies and all that kind of stuff. So,
Jimmy, you're being quiet on the sideline. Just one question, we'll move on.
I just cannot believe.
Just yes or no. I just want a yes or no answer.
God, okay.
Does crap float?
It does at times. I've looked at it.
Come on.
There you go, Rock.
Because it probably floats because you got too much on the bottom, so it's got to go above the water.
What a crappy conversation this is right now.
D-backs are celebrating their second straight road win as they took care of Pittsburgh. They won 2 of 3. and they will move on now to Philadelphia tonight. 3:40 start. Tommy Henry will get the ball in the opener in this 3-game series. Phillies will counter with right-hander Zach Wheeler.
Well, win 3 series in a row. Currently, they've won 7 out of the last 9, getting the pitching and timely hitting, and only 1.5 games back of the Dodgers. As the Dodgers have lost. So you look at this Diamond team, 1.5 back, 1.5 back. Padres only 7 games back, and Giants are hanging there, but the backs right there, 1.5.
By searching hashtag sexy roof status. And here's the question. At what point will you acknowledge the D-backs are a legitimate contender for the NL West? Your options are 1, now only, as Manuch mentioned, a game and a half back. 2, the All-Star break. 3, first week of September. 4, getting another home run hitter. Just go to Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Cast your vote. We will review this as the show continues today.
What's interesting is power rankings on MLB.com, and I think this is something we're going to get used to as Diamondback fans. We're not going to get much love at all. I mean, Manuch, you just talked about the Dodgers losing 3 in a row, and when you look at the power rankings, they're still ranked up there. It goes Rays, Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, as they're having a hell of a season, and teams I picked to win, the Rangers. And then at Yankees 6, Astros, Twins, Jays, Red Sox at number 10, and then it's the Diamondbacks at 11.
I think as far as the Diamondbacks, again, I think for a lot of folks, it'll be up to or after the All-Star break to see where they're at, and they might get some love for power rankings at that particular time. But right now, it's early, but, I mean, all things considered, they're playing pretty solid baseball from their starting rotation, and one Corbin Carroll headed for the maybe Rookie of the Year honors. He's got 12 home runs now.
He's knocking the cover off it.
He's just crushing it.
So, as I, put the show together this morning, getting it all and putting in the sound, getting the top stories in here.
So, in other words,
this one story I did not add, and I know who added it because it makes a lot of sense, as the NFL owners have passed a bylaw that allows teams to have a third quarterback in uniform.
Thank you, Jack.
The 47th active player on game days, which, of course, this goes back to that worst case scenario back with the 49ers in the NFC championship game. But all teams can now dress 3 QBs moving forward. So, you just wish, Manuch, when you were playing, that was the case.
Well, all 3 quarterbacks were available to play back in my day, so you had the 3 quarterbacks.
Why they get rid of it? They realized it was not that.
I don't know, because they had other roster spots to fill.
That's it.
When the numbers went up to 53 and Plan B for agency came into fruition, they started to go, we need more running backs and more receivers. If we got 2 solid quarterbacks, why dress the other quarterback? We put him on the taxi squad, as they called it in those days.
Right.
But in those days, you could move him off and on. The quarterback, the third-string quarterback at that time. So I was very fortunate to get that third-string quarterback here and get vested. So I was very happy.
One other news that we'll dive in a little bit later is, according to ESPN, the NFL is currently investigating a new wave of potential violations on its gambling policy. Now, this development just comes weeks after 5 players were suspended for either betting on pro football, at least a year, or betting on sports while on team property, which they got 6 games. So we'll get you caught up on that as we get more information on it as well throughout the day. We are out here at the CAZ Sports Book in the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. That's a lot to say. You're home for all the Major League Baseball and NBA and NHL playoffs, which the NBA playoffs will be over tomorrow. And then that's just not good for the NBA. You're going to have 2 sweeps. 2 sweeps. And then you're going to wait a week and a half.
Yeah.
That's just going to suck for the NBA.
Well,
they are doing everything in their power tonight to fix tonight's game and tomorrow night's game. They are. I mean, let's just be honest. It's the NBA. It's going to happen. We should call Scott Spicer. I know he's normally a Friday guest, but we should say Scott. Come on.
Or call Tim Donaghy, the former NBA official who is busted fixing.
Could call him too.
Yeah, give him a shout.
Anyway, we're out here at Casino, Arizona. Coming up, it's our Chevy Sounds of the weekend. As the D-backs win another series, and what a great weekend when it comes to golf and the PGA Championship. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Tomorrow on The Drive, we'll recap day one of the Cardinals' OTAs. Is there anything worth talking about for a Cardinals team expected to be awful? Plus more Suns off-season speculation. 6:05 on The Drive, Fox Sports 910, and your free iHeartRadio app.
It's the wind down in sparkling water. It's the zone out at the spa. The stunning sunsets at dinner. It's the escape you crave, and it's closer than you think. Talking Stick Resort's summer playcation package, starting at $139 a night with no resort fee for Arizona residents. Exclusive spa specials and $25 in free slot play. Plus, enjoy great deals inside the Talking Stick Entertainment District, including Top Golf, Talking Stick Golf Club, Octane Raceway, and more. Summer playcation, May 8th to September 15th at Talking Stick Resort. Turn it on. Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees. More options and faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global 480-397-8300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professionals. GC Capital is an Arizona mortgage broker. NMLS 10991187187. License 24983. An equal opportunity lender.
Our dealer in Arizona can compete on price.
How much?
Not since I turned 5. No, I haven't.
Once McSweeney, because once an Alex full stop and doesn't go until she counts to 5, McSweeney. Always an Alex full stop. Well, you know the rest. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, broadcasting live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is a sports fan's paradise. You are locked in to Fox Sports 910, live from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Time for the Valley Chevy dealers' top plays of the week.
Dancing and looking and directing traffic, and look at the length of this play. Murray to the 10. Come on. And he's going to convert it. That's unbelievable.
You guys are hot.
Local Chevy dealer. Set up a test drive by heading to valleychevy.com. Now today's top plays on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
All right, before we dive into that, I want to give you an opportunity to win a 75-inch smart TV, as we have teamed up with the Valley Chevy dealers to give you a chance, and you can do that right now. Just text Chevy to 59925. That's 59925. And you can enter once a day. Standard message and data rates apply. All the details are up on our website at rockandmanuch.com. So, again, win yourself a 75-inch smart TV. Just text Chevy to 59925. We'll be giving it away next week, so you can have a couple more opportunities. So let's dive into it. Of course, we were just talking about the Diamondbacks taking the series over the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll go up against the Phillies tonight. But let's get into Corbin Carroll's home run, the solo home run, which made the score 1-0. This is one of the big highlights, as Corbin having a great year for the D-backs. This is all courtesy of Valley Sports.
Corbin Carroll hits a fly ball to right field. Corbin Carroll, say goodbye. There you go, Gonzo. You wanted a homer. You got it.
He kept that slider in the middle part of the plate. Could tell Marte missed it. Corbin Carroll did not. It deposited up in the right field seats.
So he homered along with Christian Walker, who drove in 3 runs as the Snakes took care of the Pirates 8-3. Merrill Kelly moved to 5-3 with the win, and they are currently 4-2 on the road trip. Brooks Koepka making a name for himself once again, winning his 5th major. Just think about that. 5 majors, and we'll dive more into that a little bit later when we really dive into the PGA Championship. But here he is, winning the Wanamaker Trophy and taking the PGA Championship.
He's all the way back. Koepka conquers the PGA at Oak Hill.
But I think the big story, though, had to be PGA professional from California, Michael Block, who was a fan favorite all week. But what really put him over the top is when he did this.
At the 15th. The fairy tale story gets better. A hole in one for Michael Block.
I think I did it. Right in the hole. No way. No way. Roy, did it go in?
It sure did. Dunked it.
You know, a made-for-Hollywood story there, you know, with Michael Block. Not only did he finish and earn $288,000 and some change, but he also won a spot in next year's PGA Championship. Hit that hole in one of the par 315 in an improbable run, and then it ended with him sinking a par putt on 18th to clinch the tie for 15th, which enabled him to get the spot in next year's PGA Championship. So he's definitely one of the hottest commodities right now in sports. I mean, he was doing the walk and talks with ESPN and CBS, and I mean, he was a fan favorite, you know, during the second and third round as well. And then what he does yesterday was just amazing. And then he gets invited to play in the PGA event next week, you know, the Schwab Challenge there in the Colonial.
And then the Canadian Open.
Yeah, in June.
And offering him up, so he's going to play the Canadian Open as well.
What a great feel-good story. And think about I thought he kept his poise coming down the stretch, even though he shot a 71 on the last day. But, I mean, this guy, I mean, he was dialed in. I mean, he looks the part. He acts the part. I mean, mature guy out there on the tour and just shot after shot. But then when he slam dunked that hole one, you're like, did that go in? Because you lost it. You lost it. And then they said he went in. And then to sink that putt that got in there at the very end and just kind of dropped off. And what a great story. Those are that's what I think American sports people love to see, is that underdog
big time
in a major,
like John Daly was.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, and he even alluded to it in his post press conference. Charles Barkley, you know, former Philadelphia 76ers, not a big fan of the Celtics, but you know, he spoke and he spoke a lot. And of course, when Charles speaks, we have to play the sound, and it's all part of our Valley Chevy dealers sounds of the weekend. But here he is ripping into the Celtics and basically talking about their toughness.
But I would say I'm embarrassed for the Celtics. That display of basketball, no mental toughness.
3 minutes.
Complaining on every single call. Now, they are getting away with some calls, but they gonna make the refs mad because they complain on every single call. But the lack of mental toughness, it's embarrassing. I've been fortunate and blessed to play against the Lakers and the Celtics, the two best organizations in NBA history. That was an embarrassment for the Celtics. Paul Pierce, Garnett, Larry Bird, Yamil Carr, Kevin McHale, the best guard played against. That was embarrassing as a Celtics fan.
And speaking of which, 245, Casey, Celtics fan, the guy that heads up the sportsbook kickers Casino Arizona. Looking forward to having a couple.
Should we give him a broom, Rock?
Yeah, give him a broom. Looking forward to having a conversation with him.
Sweep with the Heat, and we talk about the young coach of the Celtics. Everybody saying, "Well, if you got talent, they win it." Well, he's getting out coached by Spoelstra.
Yeah,
I mean, he is totally.
Spolstra's probably the best coach in the league.
2 minutes. So that old mantra about a young guy knows what he's doing. Well, they may, but when it comes to the big boy games. Yeah. He's totally out coaching this.
And Spence, going off script a little bit, can you jump ahead? I want to talk about, or I want to play the Barkley and the refs. It's great that at least the talking heads on TNT can call out the refs, but coaches and players can't. Here he is, Charles, being Charles.
A couple things. Number one, the refs are awful. The refs are flat out awful.
So you're saying this 18-point lead is because of the refs?
But the refs are awful. They've been brutal.
I love that.
Was that Kenny trying to interject?
Yeah, he was.
And give his. He go, no. They're awful. And guys, we've questioned it. Like, okay, what's a foul? It's not a foul. At least if they let them play, let those guys play. There's so much contradiction, I feel, in the playoffs with the officiating. You go, okay, it is what it is, as long as they're fair with it. But there were some calls. You saw
1 minute. 1 minute.
It was hack a joker.
Yeah,
that weren't called.
Yeah.
And then let's get one more in, and this is because I'm just going to pat myself on the back because, there was only 7 horses, so I had a 1 in 7 chance of picking the right horse to win, and I did win this one. It wasn't tough. I mean, I told 5 people at the watering hole, I'm like, dude, you got to go National Treasure. And Scott Spreitzer called it too. Most people did. It wasn't that big a deal. He was a favorite. But here is the win in the Preakness.
And they're into the stretch. National Treasure taken on by Blazing Suns. Mage wanders inside. Still work to do with him. National Treasure dig again. Blazing Sevens. Mage is third. It's National Treasure. It's Blazing Sevens putting on a show in the Preakness. Who's it going to be? It's going to be National Treasure. John Velasquez gets his Preakness, and Bob Baffert has won his 8th one. Blazing Sevens was second best. Mage is up third, and a great stretch run in the Preakness Stakes.
Yeah, Bob Baffert's Colt outlasted Blazing Sevens there in that stretch run there, which was somewhat bittersweet day as Baffert having a meltdown. A horse suffered a leg injury in an earlier race, and unfortunately was euthanized, which was sad. So you hate seeing that, and that was just horrible. But National Treasures gets a win, and Baffert, the winningest Preakness trainer in history, breaking a tie back in the 19th century with trainer Wyndham Walden. So there you have it. Coming up, we will continue on here, and we will talk some NBA basketball as we will catch up with Tim Kempton. Yep, we will get his thoughts on what type of head coach makes sense for the Suns, and what is DeAndre Ayton worth on the trade market. We'll see what he thinks. That's next. We're live out here at the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
What's trending on Fox Sports 9?
to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, broadcasting live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is a sports fan's paradise. You are locked in to Fox Sports 910, live from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Just keep everybody in the moment, not letting it slip away. You need 16 wins to win a championship, and we got 5 more to go. The Lakers are on their way, and they're going to do everything in their power to come back and fight. They're not going to just lay down and let us beat them, on their home floor. So, we know next game's going to be another test. They're going to come in more aggressive. A's going to be more aggressive. LeBron's going to be more aggressive, so Kyle's going to be more.
You guys are hot.
So we know it's coming, and we just got to stay locked in and know that we can do it. And we have full belief in that. And like I said, we got 5 more to go.
That's Murray of the Nuggets as playoffs continue tonight, as they will take on the Lakers in Game 4, and they're hoping to complete the 4-game sweep. It's in Los Angeles, and we know Los Angeles plays well at home, but that wasn't the case the other night. Miami Heat, they're 1 win away from their second trip to the NBA Finals, and in the last 4 seasons, as they took care of the Celtics 128 to 102 yesterday in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have a commanding 3-0 series now. As Vincent erupted for 29 points while knocking down 6 shots from the 3-point range to lead Miami in the win. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum combined for 26 in the loss. No team in NBA history has come back from an 0-3 deficit in the postseason, and I believe that's 149 straight. So I think you could say 150 and 151 now. Too.
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy. You may recollect this. Have we ever seen in an NBA Finals where there's 2 teams down 0-3 at the same time in the annals of the NBA history? I mean, I can't recollect where somebody's just hammered somebody. They've either gone 4 or 5, mostly 6 or 7 games.
I don't remember.
In knockdown, drag-out games.
I don't remember both conference finals being 4-0, 4-0. I'm sure maybe it has happened, but I don't recall it in the last, recent history at all of the NBA. And to be honest with you guys, I'm stunned by the poor play of the Boston Celtics.
That's I get the curiosity factor. You're down. You're basically down. 61 to 46 at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game, set, match.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win that game in Miami with the way the prowess of this Miami Heat team is playing. But I think one of the things that you looked at is how a team can look so good one night and so disheveled the next 2 games. I mean, Jimmy, not even competitive. You lose this game by 26 points. You're like, where did that get away from itself? That's the thing you question.
Tim Kempton now joins us here on Fox Sports 910. How you doing, buddy? What's going on today?
What's going on, boys? How's everything going there?
Going good. Just trying to kind of talk through these Eastern and Western finals, which have been kind of blowouts, or not all blowouts, but 3-0. But get your thoughts. A lot of talk. We're talking about DeAndre Ayton. What do you think, if and when he gets moved, what should they get in return? I mean, do you want picks, or you want somebody, you want bench guys that can make an impression right away?
You're getting rid of them? Has he been traded yet?
No, I'm just, it's dog days of summer, Tim. You got to work with us. Dog days of summer. We need content. Play along. We need content. Play along. We need content, man.
Rumors have it. Sources say, Tim.
Give me some shooting and give me some rebounding.
Okay.
You got to remember that this guy's averaging a double-double in his career, 18 and 10. So you can talk about what you want, and that's always been my thing. Listen, I understand he has faults, but then tell me who you want in return. Tell me what you want out there. Right now, it seems like 3-point shooting. The Suns, you had guys, but they just didn't seem to be consistent. Terrence Ross, Damian Lee, Landry Shamet, all these guys got hot at one point or another in the season, but they weren't someone that you consistently go on. Can you get some rebounding and a draft pick or 2? Listen, somebody's going to like him. I understand. He's been the whipping boy here in Phoenix for a while, but there's not too many guys in the league that are getting 18 and 10. They can jump out on and switch on the smaller players. He runs the floor very well. I think it's more, that's why I've said to a lot of people, tell me who the next coach is, and then I'll tell you if I want to trade DeAndre or not.
All right, that's exactly where I was going to go. We all know that last summer that the coach, Monty, and DeAndre Ayton never spoke. So the tension was there throughout the entire season. Now that coach is history, and now Ayton, in your estimation, you're thinking that he might even perform better in a Suns jersey with a new voice as the head coach.
Well, here's the thing. If you get, I mean, he averages 18 and 10 on 8 touches a game. Can you run some more, screens? Can you run a back pick from him on that high pick into the low post? Can you get him moving in and around the basket? Is there a thing? Are there things, which I think there are, that you can do to get him more engaged? And if he's more engaged on one end, then all of a sudden his energy and his engagement, and someone that is obviously talking to him, someone that he feels has his back, then all of a sudden you play a little bit harder on the other end, and then he becomes a 20 and 12 guy that plays hard every night, and you're like, wow, that's a pretty good player. And you got to remember, he's still young. He's still young. You guys are seeing it, but big guys tend to take a little bit longer. And then you go back even further. DeAndre Ayton was not one of these high school phenoms that's been playing basketball since the 8th grade. He didn't play competitive basketball until he got to the high school level. So he still has some maturing to do as a basketball player.
Tim, it seems as though that everybody's going to be chasing the Nuggets, at least for the next couple, 2-3 years, because it seems like they'll probably pretty much extend and up a lot of their guys. So when I think about all this chatter about CP3 and DeAndre Ayton, my first thought is, okay, what are the Suns going to do to be able to compete and keep up with the Joneses, i.e. the Denver Nuggets, in order to compete with them to try to win a Western Conference final? I think that's what I'm looking for as a fan is, what are they going to add or delete or whatever to keep up with the Nuggets? Is that kind of the thought process that should be in that GM's office right now?
No, I don't think so, because you guys know it's really tough to repeat. A lot of things, and Manuch, it's not only do you have to play well, but you got to get a little lucky. So listen, Denver's going to be good. If you go about your business thinking about loading up for one particular team,
3 minutes
to another in another spot. So you just have to go out there and put the best product you have on the floor. So you got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant now. Let's put some pieces around them to make them more successful. They've shown to be all-star at the all-star level. So can you find some 3-point shooting? Can you find some perimeter defense? So Devin and Kevin don't have to go out there and work so hard on both ends. Can you find some extra rebounding to be a big focal point when the Suns lost? Now, when they rebounded well, they were fine, but they just couldn't get that consistency. Can you find, another big body that just goes after it off the glass? Or once again, do you have that body there? Is it Jock Landale? Do you play a bigger lineup, alongside DeAndre Ayton? So there's definitely a lot of questions, but I don't think you try to go at your
2 minutes
with one team in particular, because then you're going to come up short against 6 or 7 others.
All right, Tim, let's go to the games that are going to be played tonight. Denver, what you were just referencing, has a chance to eliminate the Lakers. The Lakers have not quit in this series. They have played hard. They're just not good enough with some of the pieces that they have to beat Denver. In your estimation, is that the case tonight? Is it a sweep, or do the Lakers grab one?
Well, have you talked to the NBA front office? Do they want a 5th game yet? Have you gotten that news yet?
No, we're going to call Tim Donaghy, the former official, in about an hour. We'll get his take.
Well, that'd be a good take, because Donaghy knows what other officials are on the take since the NBA threw him up. Listen, Tim Donaghy, he was wrong, but there were other officials alongside of him that were involved in that. But
1 minute.
I think you're exactly right. The Lakers are just not good enough. They're not good. Denver is that much better than them, and you can just see Denver's composure. Even the other night, where the Lakers came back and took a 1 point, I think it was a 1 point lead, and then Denver just ran on a 14-2, 17-4 run on them, and the game was over. Denver, you never see them rattled. You don't see them. Oh no! Here, even when the Lakers make a run, or even in our series, I thought that the Suns were always chasing the Denver Nuggets, and it's even more so now with the Lakers. It's like you see how excited they get when they go up 1-2 points. It's like, hey guys, the game's not. But that's a victory to them. Getting up a bucket or two, making a big play. Everything's over the top of the Lakers. The game's 48 minutes long, and that's what Denver does. They don't. Too high, nothing's too low. Let's just go about our business, And they go on that run, they get up 8-10, and the Lakers panic, and now they start taking all these 3-pointers. They take quick shots. They get out of what's comfortable for them. And then, the Denver Nuggets just go and win the game. I think they're just too talented and playing too well. They're the best team in the NBA right now.
But do the Lakers win or lose tonight?
Oh, it's a sweep. It's over.
Okay. All right. You heard it. Yeah. Tim Kempton. Yep. Tim, thank you as always, buddy. Have a good week. Thanks for the time as always.
Yeah, you guys too.
Thanks
for having me on.
That's Tim Kempton. He called it. Sweep tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Get over here to the CAZ Sportsbook. Put the bet in. It's brought to you today by All City Towing. They continue to grow. They got a bunch of new vehicles in their already huge fleet, so they need to hire. So head to allcitytowing.com. Search careers. They got full-time, part-time, all there at allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. That is the fastest way to apply, is at allcitytowing.com. Coming up on this day, some pretty cool stuff that happened that will bring you back. We'll take you back here on a Monday afternoon with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports.
Meant for mornings. The Drive with Jimmy.
You guys are hot.
Listen tomorrow, 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
Now with us today, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from the CAZ Sports Bar. 27 years ago today, as we do our On This Day report, 1996, the first Mission Impossible movie was released. Great movie.
Great movies. I love how he's going to get himself out of trouble and all these. And he does his own stunts.
He does.
Tom Cruise.
He's got
all of his stunts.
Got a new one coming out, too.
And are you guys about the same height, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Hey, he's what, 5'4", 5'5"?
Stop. He's pushing 5'7", that being Tom Cruise, if that.
Well, then Jimmy's not pushing 5'7".
Yeah.
You look up to Tom, don't you?
In many ways, right?
Yeah. I like some of his money.
I loved how they used the original. The original show was back in 1966, Mission Impossible. Yeah. You had Peter Graves, like Martin Landau. That whole context of how that hour show every Saturday night would be on. They bring that somewhat 30 years later to the crux of how that whole thing turned about. And Peter Graves was the original Jim Phelps.
Yes.
Greg Brooks, or was it Greg Morris, original Barney Collier in those days. So it was great to see.
Did you look that up?
I did real quick.
You actually prepped.
Absolutely.
Because you wouldn't, that didn't just come off top of your.
It's frightening.
Yeah, just straight
Damn
out
right, man. I think about, you couldn't wait to watch the original Mission Impossible. And how the hell was he going to get after? And the original voice the guy, all right, Jim, this is your assignment for this time, and have that whole, and then that
self-destruct.
It's self-destruct, exactly.
5 seconds.
You keep this music going because 26 years ago, 1997, the Air Force first female bomber pilot certified for combat, Kelly Flynn, accepted a general discharge from service in order to avoid court-martial. So lying, disobeying, adultery, all that good stuff.
All the above.
Yeah.
Well,
everyday life.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, remember, the military, just one large city, wherever that's it. Wherever that base is at.
All right, Jimmy, this was for you. 1998, Dominic Wilkins, Larry Bird traded bucket for bucket in the fourth quarter. Game 7 of the 88 Eastern Conference semis. The Boston won 118-116 as Wilkins 47 points, Bird 34 with 20 of his points tallied in the fourth quarter. The basket was like a well, as what Wilkins had said. I couldn't miss. He couldn't. It was one of the greatest games he said he ever played in, and those two just went at it, and it was a lot of fun.
I'm telling you right now, I remember watching that game, and to this day for me, it is one of the best, if not the best, individual performances by two stars in the fourth quarter.
In those mid-late 80s,
awesome.
It was so fun to watch. You look forward to the superstars playing each other, whether it's one-on-one or whomever, but it's just like, that was must-watch TV.
It was.
And, yeah, we have must-watch TV with some of the superstars now, but not like in those days when the NBA was finally starting to come back with this resurgence with the new kids on the block, as far as, Phi Slam and Jamma, Wilkins, and Bird and Magic being on there and making sure you watched all that.
And Dominique does not get the amount of credit that he should, because he was a spectacular player and pretty much on the level of Magic and Bird with his basketball game. He played in Atlanta. He did not play in Boston or Los Angeles. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Hey, 2001, for the second time that season, Barry Bonds homers in 6 consecutive games. He did it twice. His 9 homers during this span of games established a National League mark. However, 1968, you got to go back to the Senators' Frank Howard, who hit 10 homers in 6 games, which is a Major League record. In that game that he hit 6 in the 6, Giants lost to D-backs 12-8, when a game that saw Mark Grace having 4 hits, including 2 doubles.
You forget how good of a ball player Mark Grace was.
He was a good player.
As far as a very solid hitter, a lot of doubles. As far as that was concerned, I think Ryan Sandberg broke the record for some of those doubles. All that being said, just watching Frank Howard, when you go way back, 6'10", about 250, he used to hit absolute bombs. And they came down once in a while, the Senators, for spring training in Scottsdale. Folks would line up. You're talking about Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
His progress at BP was hitting him about 505 feet on a regular basis. The size of that guy.
Howard was a sensational power hitter, And you're absolutely right.
3 minutes.
His home runs have legendary written all over them.
And Jimmy had some big ballparks back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Much bigger than today.
They weren't cigar boxes like they are now.
Yep.
Oh,
right.
come on.
They are. Some of these
when I used to play. Come
Yeah,
on, guys.
300 down the right field line in Yankee Stadium. I mean, you hit a pop-up, it's gone out of there. I mean, look at all the Derek Jeter opposite field home runs that were barely 290. I mean, he got them out, but they were up and out the door. And then all the lefties that played through Yankee Stadium. You think of all the Roger Marises of the world at the old stadium.
It was 295 down the right field line at the old Yankee Stadium. How do I know that? Because I called games in that old stadium.
And you see some of these stadiums out at 400. They used to, back in the day, 420, 425 deep center field, Rock. You had to crush it to get it out of there. And the balls weren't juiced in those days either, guys.
That you know of.
Yeah.
Instead, they had like mayonnaise on them, mustard, or whatever. Galen Perry had.
He had it all on it.
2 minutes.
I can tell you this. The catch by Willie Mays in center field is legendary because it took place in the World Series. But when you see that catch, I think the sign out in center field is visible, and I think it says 420.
Easy. Yeah. I mean, he ran for a
420.
long
way to go get
before
that
he got
ball.
that bad boy.
Yeah.
I mean, to catch that, turn around and spin it out.
Yeah.
I mean, great catch, but you're right. It was deep center field.
Hey, our State 48 Roofing it's your call question. It has to do with baseball. At what point will you acknowledge the D-backs legitimate contenders? Now, as they're only a game and a half back. The All-Star break, that's two or three. First week of September, or for another home run hitter. Those are your four. Head to our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch, and as always, State 48 Roofing, our partner. It's your call question of the day, and you can check them at state48roofing.com.
And so trending right now, week of September at 45.5%, followed by the All-Star break at 27.33, and then
Cardinals and DeAndre Hopkins. There could be a deal that could go down that links him to the Baltimore Ravens. We'll talk about that. Craig Fouie will join us as well as we are just finishing up hour number 1. We got the next hour getting started at 2, so we're 4 minutes away of hour number 2. So we appreciate you hanging out with us today. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from the CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. These guys need a pee break, but we'll be back.
10 seconds
with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Speak for yourself.
Fox Sports 910.
At Lerner & Rowe, we don't have empty slogans or make empty promises.
I know. That's our K-State thing.
Arizona, that big on your favorite team and player. That's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's
You guys are hot.
place in the valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, DeAndre Hopkins, as we've been talking about him quite a bit over the offseason, even during the season, on what the future holds for him. But during a recent podcast appearance, he is being linked to the Baltimore Ravens. He even said, "I love Lamar Jackson. I am an athlete." He said, "Lamar Jackson is one of my favorite athletes since I've been watching sports. I'm a sports fan, so I was watching Lamar when he played at Clemson, my alumni, and I was, who is this kid? D-Hop." And then he went on to say, "I would be lying to sit here and say it wouldn't be an honor to one day play with a great guy and a great quarterback like Lamar." So that is where we're linked now. Of course, we could see it. DeAndre Hopkins to the Ravens. I don't know what that price would cost for the Ravens to get him, but rumors are there. We're going to hear a lot of different rumors.
They already got
and
Hollywood
he is
Brown.
part of their agenda.
Yeah, they got Hollywood Brown already from the Ravens, so obviously they've done deals, but that was with a different general manager.
Well, and can you imagine Odell Beckham there?
Yeah.
You got Odell there, and you look at the other receiving core. Bateman, who is dinged up, and if you got the right picks,
okay,
or you got another,
you just want picks.
Well, I think you got to get somebody. You get somebody of value that can play right now. I mean, we got to remember though, Jimmy, this Cardinals team
Like Hollywood?
rebuild mode. Yeah,
How'd that work out?
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
But I mean, they're rebuilding mode. So if you're rebuilding mode, and if you feel you don't want to pay the price for somebody's salary, then you get the picks.
Okay.
Bring somebody in. Now the thing would be for the Ravens, do they want to pick up D-Hop's salary? They want to pick up that, or would they do some kind of a restructure and trade, a sign and trade with D-Hop to go down that road? So I think I'd rather get the picks. What's somebody, another linebacker or this guy, that guy, going to help with this Arizona Cardinals team? So I'd rather see picks, and they can add him to Odell and that arsenal, and finally maybe get them to the Super Bowl, that being the Ravens.
So just so you know how this all started, he was asked which quarterbacks he would love the ball being thrown to him. And his first answer was Josh Allen. Then it was Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert. That rounded out the top five. So that is where it is. So now, if you go to any of the websites for those teams, the Baltimore Ravens, Bleacher Report page, or the Eagles, it's like here's the Eagles. DeAndre Hopkins lists Eagles, Jalen Hurts
there you go.
as a quarterback he'd love to play with. So now they're making, maybe they're going to make a run at him. So
I think what D-Hop just did is he put that out there. He wants to go to teams that have a chance of winning it all. So those teams you just mentioned, every one of them has a chance to win this Super Bowl. Specifically, the Eagles to get back to the Super Bowl, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers. All those teams, he put that out there. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. The teams that are contending to win it all.
Now, I elaborated, too. He said he was asked, three things that the team must have for him to want to go there, right?
All right.
And number one was stable management. Number two was quarterback who loves the game. And he stressed Kyler Murray does, but he's injured. And great defense, because defense wins championships.
Thank you, D-Hop. I appreciate that. I second that motion. And I think he's just kind of putting it out there. Those are his thoughts to the Cardinals to say, look, I think we did it in a very subliminal way, guys, is
how he just point blank.
No. I know. He's said,
not subliminal at all.
He's just, I know. He just said,
he's so opposite.
I like these. And hey, Cardinals, are you hearing what I'm saying? Not listening. Are you hearing to what I'm saying? That I would. So if there's an opportunity to go to those five teams, please, at any time, do that. Now I get the hell out of here.
Not to mention, for me, that's it. Great management. Stable management. That's a knock on the guys upstairs.
That's a shot across the bow. That's a missile across the bow at the Cardinals organization.
Is it though?
Yeah,
we know he's already out.
But here's the thing. To me, it seems as though the Cardinals are hell-bent on keeping him for the time being.
No.
He doesn't want to stay there.
Exactly. And I don't think the Cardinals want him. I think this whole new regime wants to clean the old guys out.
Yeah.
And I think, and what's so funny is in the last, I would say 4 months, the Cardinal base, the fan base, are all like, I can't stand Kyler Murray. I want him out. Whereas everybody who's been defending him in the last 3-4 years, and now all of a sudden he's hurt, and they're saying, let's get rid of him. New regime. They're not going to go anywhere this year. Let's let him get to October, November, see what he does, and then let's see if somebody wants to take a chance on him. Because there's 2 or 3 organizations out there, these coaches that I can make Kyler work in my offense.
Always.
I can make them work.
Yep. Yeah, especially with the RPO and the spread and all that kind of stuff. But on top of that, guys, the interesting thing is he'll be damaged goods. He'll be another knee injury away from being out. He'll re-injure this.
Yeah.
So they got to be very careful that, sometimes be careful what you wish for, because if he goes out, you better have a backup plan. And if that backup plan's to go draft another rookie quarterback, i.e., one Caleb Williams will be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. So you got to make sure that all falls in line. As far as D-Hop is concerned, it's one of those scenarios where, okay, if you do trade him, you just know your backup plan with Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore, that's pretty much all you have. So, okay, then go get picks for him in order to enhance that for the following year.
They only let you throw to a receiver anyway.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing right there when you stop thinking about it. And then Colt McCoy is going to be, we hear, limited in OTAs. And you got David Blau, you got the kid from Houston, and then you got Jeff Driscoll. You're in serious decline as to who's going to run that offense until Kyler Murray gets back.
Well,
and you better have a sampling of dudes. If Zach Ertz comes back from his knee injury and you have the rookie in there, you got to be careful.
Clayton Tune, let's go.
Yeah, here you go.
He says he should have been a first-round pick.
He said, I elevate everybody
Yeah,
when I play. Look,
but
I watched some Houston games. The dude can play.
Sure.
I can
he
tell you
can
that.
throw the ball.
He was in the right offense there, too.
Yeah, he was.
But it's just a matter of what that philosophy is going to be and who they go get if they trade D-Hop to that standpoint. My gosh, what an arsenal. Mark Andrews is your tight end. Odell Beckham is receiver.
Right.
D-Hop is a receiver. Plus the other 2 or 3 guys they have, a couple of them are injured right now. Plus their running game, and then their defense. So at that point, hey, John Harbaugh, here's your team. What can you do now that Lamar Jackson is going to get paid on average about 40 million ducats a year?
I don't know when this podcast was, if it was this morning, what time it was this morning, and how interesting it is where he's got time to be on a podcast, but he can't be at the Tempe facility for OTAs.
The involuntary OTAs.
Yeah, but
yeah, sure.
So he was out today, but Budda Baker, which, he's already requested to be traded too. That stability at the front office is still a really big deal.
That was very, very clear and concise. That shot directly at Michael Bidwin in the front office. He sees that a lot of guys that have left have seen it. A lot of guys have not been bashful to talk about it once they've left. Guys were hesitant to say anything. Look at Budda Baker.
Mm-hmm.
How his actions speak louder than words as to not. He never, guys. He was always at OTAs, voluntary, involuntary, whatever. I think he's dug his heels in the sand, and he's drawn that red line in the sand that unless he gets paid, he's not coming back.
All right, but is it justified? Should he be paid
Absolutely.
the highest? He's the highest paid safety in the league.
Absolutely, Rob. He is the most consistent year in, year out. And to play that well for a bad team, to come back and play that well, and he should be top 2, if not top 3, highest paid safety in the National Football League. He's already outplayed his extension from 3 years ago.
So one year he gets that moniker.
You
think he's been there?
He's one of the top safeties in the league for last several years.
I don't know.
Yes, he has, Rock.
You're not buying that, Rock?
I
don't know. I guess I just don't think. I think he's a great player. He's good clubhouse locker room guy. But I don't know if I can't give you a list of safeties that a bunch of guys I can put ahead of him. I just don't see him because he's been on a bad football team for so many years.
Well, that tells you right there. A guy that plays that good on a bad team to elevate his game and to be the leading tackler, be the heart and soul of that defense, year in, year out, to be the captain of that team and to play at a high level as much as he played. I think I played the kid.
All
for the
right,
Chargers.
would you take what's the guy? What's his first name? Fitzpatrick. What's his first name?
Micah.
Would you put him ahead of him?
No, absolutely not. No.
You would?
No, would not.
Mika.
Mika Fitzpatrick. No, I would not, because he's done it. When you look at him overall, and Fitzpatrick with the Bills, good team, good defense.
Steelers. What are Steelers?
Yeah. Look at the sieve that this Cardinal defense has been, and to be time after time. And on top of that, the kid comes back with a bad wheel and plays that last game. Heart and soul, they look at that. So I feel he's one of the top two, if not the number one safety in the National Football
Not
League.
only that, Manuch made a great point. He was I know it's scary when he does, but he did when he said he's the leading tackler on the team.
Yeah.
On a bad team.
On a bad team. So what's that say to you? That everybody who plays against the Cardinals gets into the secondary.
And that's exactly right, Jimmy.
They do.
That's not good.
No.
When he becomes leading tackle. But guess what? He does tackle him, gets him down.
Yep.
He's one of the better cover safeties in the National Football League. And you look at his interceptions, his pass defenses, and they look at the burn rate. Has not been burned that often in his career.
But Manuch, just educate me on this. That the strong safety position is not like it used to be, right? It's more like a hybrid linebacker.
I would agree with
right?
that.
So their job is now to stop the run. So obviously there are going to be more tackles for him.
But for him,
whereas you go back to years, safety sitting back, they didn't tackle anybody.
The free safety, you're right, that guy. But the strong safety,
wait. Say that again.
The free
No,
safety.
before that, you said you're right. Okay,
is more incorporated in their thing. The blitz pass they incorporated were set for Buda Baker, not Isaiah Simmons.
Right.
The middle linebacker. Buda Baker was blocking, but they're always aware where Buda Baker is going for. They don't do that, but maybe 3 or 4 other safeties in the league. Mika Fitzpatrick and the kid from the Chargers. The only two they account for to make sure where the hell's that kid at? Oh, there he is. And then you go from there. So I just think he's outplayed his contract. Pay him, or if you're going to trade him, you better get some damn good picks for that whole situation.
I'm with you on that.
Your top story today is brought to you by the CAC Sportsbook here in Casino, Arizona. Your home for Major League Baseball and the NBA, NHL playoffs. They have all the games on all the screens, food and drink specials. And if you haven't had the Roc and Manuch Lager brought to you by Huss Brewery, it is here at the CAZ Sports Bar. So try it for yourself. And again, they got the kiosks as well as the what do you call it?
The sports book itself.
No,
Yeah.
what is this? What do you call the people at the sports book?
It's just the I don't know.
The people at the sports.
No, you walk into the window. The window.
Yeah, the window.
The window. Okay. Even though there's no window, but they call it a window, right?
They do.
Right. So there's no window there. And they got like 4 or 5 people sitting there
for you.
I'd say the counter, Rock.
The counter.
Yes.
All right.
Counter.
So, yeah, they got the counter here at the CAC Sportsbook. And
With no window.
with no window. 46 4K flat screen televisions. I like the self-service kiosks. I mean, even when I was at the establishment betting the
pony
Preakness, I like to kind of do my own thing.
See, I like it better when I'm face to face with somebody
Because you're about to give them your cash.
Yeah, I am, and I can ask them questions, and they will answer your questions. That's the best part.
Well, it's like me. It's no different than going to Home Depot, right? You go to Home Depot and you really don't know where it is,
Sure.
but you're going to find it by yourself.
Okay.
There's no way in hell I'm going to ask somebody, can you tell me where the hammers are? I'm going to figure it out, because that's like, guys, we don't ask for directions.
No, we don't. No.
So it's the same thing with me going to the window or the counter, and I want to do a box the 4, 5, and 6, and whatever. I'm going to figure it out on the screen, because usually that young lady on the other side or the guy on the other side, you're an idiot. You don't know how to do that.
But that's not true here. They're very helpful.
I'm not saying it was here.
I know what you're
general,
saying. Yes, but normally they're very helpful.
My point is, I'd rather go to the kiosks, just like at Home Depot. I'll find that hammer. It may take me a half hour, but I'm going to get there and look at, okay, all right, so tools. That's 7, aisle 7. There's got to be a hammer. A tool's a hammer, right?
You're the guy holding up everybody in line.
That's true at Home Depot, right? Would you agree?
Oh, there
for
you go.
guys, you think you get there.
Yeah.
And then when you meet the guy, like I like the guys that you see in there that got the, they got the tape measure hooked onto their belt. They're like they're the real guys.
That hammer.
And it's not like this is a worker, like a guy that's on a job.
No.
This is a guy on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. You're at Home Depot, and that guy's got his,
Tool belt.
his
Yep.
tool belt on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
dude,
tool belt.
come on, don't act like you know, whatever. Hey, coming up, an incredible week of professional golf as Michael Block, who amazing. No one knew who he was last week, and now he is the talk of the golf tour. We'll talk about him as well as Brooke Koepka, and what does it mean for the Live Tour? It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B from Casino, Arizona.
Book in Casino, Arizona. The Sports Book at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is a sports fan's paradise. You are locked in to Fox Sports 910, live from CAC Sports Book in Casino, Arizona.
You can dial this trajectory right. Looks very good. Has he got the distance right?
Are you kidding me? Slam dunk!
I appreciate you making me cry. I'm living a dream. I'm making sure that I enjoy this moment. I've learned that after my 46 years of life. It's not going to get better than this.
You guys are hot.
No. And cheers to 29,000 PGA Tour professionals, PGA professionals of the world. It's for you guys. Thank you.
Michael Block, Dream Week. Got even more surreal yesterday. He's 46 years old. He's what they call an everyman club pro from Mission Viejo in California. not only did he get a hole 1 on 15, as you just heard, but he finished in a tie for 15th, which earned him an automatic exemption in next year's PGA Championship. And before yesterday, his largest paycheck he ever won on a tournament was $75,000. Just still a lot. And I've seen conflicting reports, but either it's around 290 to 309 for 15th place yesterday. But minutes after he finished, it was interesting that he gets a phone call from the tournament director at Colonial, which is the PGA Tour event next week in Fort Worth, to give, as he got the final sponsor exemption, which was brilliant on the folks there at the Colonial for actually bringing him on, because it's going to be huge. People are going to want to just see him be out there, and then he gets the call to play up in the Canadian Open, which is cool too. Yep. And a couple times he had to call the airlines to change his flights because he makes the cut on Friday. He was supposed to go back to California Friday night and or Saturday morning, and then he ends up having to stay. And for him, only 1 in 20 club pros in the 156 player field made the cut. So that was impressive on his part, and to have some success, because no pro, this is an interesting stat, no club pro has ever finished in the top 10 in the 105-year history of the PGA Championship, and he almost did it.
Wow.
Almost did it.
I thought what was really interesting was when he was holding a news conference, finally after his rounds were over, and that's when his phone rang, and it was the tournament director in Fort Worth at Colonial. And he said, I know what you're going to ask me, and if you do that, I'm just going to start crying. And the guy says, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And he asks him to come play in the tournament. You have an exemption. And the camera panned over, and his wife was about 2 chairs down with her head on the table, sobbing that she was so excited what was going on. She was overwhelmed with emotion that he got that call while he was conducting his press interview. Unbelievable.
Yeah, great story. Real good story. Is. And then, aside from him, that was, of course, a big story. But what was even bigger was Brooks Koepka, his 2-shot win over Scotty Scheffler, who had a great Sunday. You can imagine if the weather was better Saturday, what he would have done. And Victor Hovland, who I kind of thought maybe he would have won. I kind of was leaning on betting a little bit on him to kind of have a good Sunday. But he, kind of fueled out a little bit. But the win for Koepka, his 5th major championship. And you put him up there with, Byron Nelson, some big game guys, and he got a $3.15 million paycheck.
And not to mention, he fell apart in the Masters the last, he could have won that one very easily as well, too. He could have won back-to-back majors and just, bad luck, bad shots, rubber the green, whatever you want to call it. And, John Rahm got hot. But again, you look at Koepka. I mean, if he can stay healthy, every major he plays, and he will have a chance to win. Unfortunately, win the Masters, but he won this one, and you're like, okay, will he fall apart? Having that lead going into the final round like he did at the Masters, but no, he was steady all the way through.
Does this do anything then, because Koepka won for Live Golf? Does it put him on the planet? Do people pay more attention to it? Or, okay, Koepka won, so what?
I think it gives a little new life to the Live Tour, because you had 3 Live golfers in the top 10. Bryson DeChambeau was tied for 4th. Yep. Cameron Smith was tied for 9th. You had the success at Augusta National with him as well as Phil Mickelson and Patrick Reed, who also finished real strong in the Masters. So that is a big takeaway. I think you have to look at the guys that finished in the top 10 and top 5 of the Masters, that the Live Tour, which I think has kind of been going, it's been a little quiet because of the fact that they don't have the coverage that they need with the WB or the CW and the challenges they've had there. But I'm not a Live Tour guy at all. I really haven't been. I'm a fan of just the golfers in general. I mean, Koepka won $4 million in the Live Tour event last month, and he gets $3 million from the PGA Championship.
I look at that as going, I want to see all the good players for the majors.
I'm with you. 100%.
And if it's a Live Tour, if I happen to come across it, I'll watch it, because you know who the usual suspects are going to be in the Live Tour. I thought what was interesting was Phil Mickelson giving all the accolades to the tournament. After the tournament, his comments about it was well put together.
Whatever.
It was that.
He's talking about both sides of the
Well, I was just going to say, right, that was my thought, is he trying to soften him up after the comments he made, 2 weeks ago?
Exactly what he's doing.
But I think to your point, Jimmy, do you watch him? if I come across it and I'm home,
Then you'll
I'll
watch.
watch because they're damn good golfers.
Oh, yeah.
But I'd rather watch them at a major or a regular PGA event than watch them by themselves.
You know, if the Live could play 4 rounds, the Live could play some of the same rules, then I'm all in. Until they do that, I'm looking at it as, okay, you got the NFL and you got the USFL.
Yeah.
The old USFL where you had the superstars. You had Elway and Kelly and Brian Sipe. You had the superstar Herschel Walker. So you peaked in because you had the superstars.
Right.
And I think the same applies to the Live Tour. Until they get to the same rules, then it's hard for me to kind of watch it.
If I could add to that, Rock, it'd be like all those great NFL guys that are still stars. Now they're going down to the USFL because they're getting paid more money going down. Now they're getting paid more money. And do I watch USFL because all of a sudden John Elway or Jim Kelly are back in their peak versus watching the NFL, watching that game? I might peek at it, but if the NFL still got that star power. So that's what I like it too, looking at all those stars in their peak coming back down to USFL. And that's, they're paying them out of the boatloads. Just say the Saudis bought the USFL.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to pay you $5 million a year. I mean, $30 million a year versus your $25. I don't know if I'd watch USFL.
I'm just such a fan of golf. Every Sunday, I look forward to it. Saturday, Sunday, watching it. I just got into something new in regards to talking to a guy the other day who actually owns a book. Owns a book, sports book.
A legal sports book?
Yeah, in Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
And told me the way to bet golf is matchups. Kind of like Scott Spreitzer talked about. He was betting horses matchup. He was betting National Treasure versus so-and-so. And the same thing is look at any given Sunday or any given weekend in golf. You're betting Koepka versus Rahm or Scotty Scheffler versus Phil Mickelson, whomever it is. And that's a new approach I have, and I'm going to see how that works. So to your point, you like to see the majors, but there's only 4. And I like to see 8 to 10 tournaments. There's elevated tournaments, and that I hope that the Live Tour guys can play in. So that competition will get to that level.
Do they play in the TPC at Sawgrass? They were not eligible for that one this last year.
Nope.
I know they want to become more and more involved. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
The big debate will also be who's playing on the Ryder Cup team. Do you take those guys from the Live Tour, or do you just stay with the PGA guys?
And you guys know, I told you, I'm actually going. I have tickets for Thursday and Friday. I've never been to Italy, so I'm pretty excited for my vacation. Well, I'll be working. Excuse me. Hey, you got a delay because I am going to call in.
Your assignment, right?
I am calling in both Thursday and
That's
Friday.
That's how you're writing it off.
Yeah, I don't know what the time difference is.
10 hours.
Yeah, so I will call in no matter what time it is.
Okay.
But I will call in with a live report from Rome if you're okay with it.
Oh, that's fine.
You gotta squeeze me in, or you're gonna like trump me to for Craig Fooey who's next.
No, because if it's 1 o'clock there, it'll be 11 o'clock there at night. So you'll be up anyway. So midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, you call in,
eat some pasta.
Absolutely,
a little vino,
red vino.
Hey, Rock, how'd it go today?
Call us. Oh, get your nap. I'll be calling in.
Looking forward to that. But I went 2 years ago Whistling Straits. It is all about the players being there, and you go for the superstars.
Yep. That's right.
And especially, United States is playing pretty good right now. I like to see them go in there and kick some ass. So, especially on their soil. Next, we will be joined by Craig Fooey from ABC 15. Do remind you that tomorrow we will be at a Barrio Queen, part of our El Bandino Yankee Tequila Tuesday. We'll be at the Scottsdale location from 1 to 4. We encourage you to stop by, have some incredible, authentic Mexican food, and try the new El Bandino Yankee Tequila. That's tomorrow, live from Barrio Queen in Scottsdale. Craig Fooey's next. It's Fox Sports 910.
Put your headset on.
Why won't you answer him?
Let's put his headset on.
Well, he wanted to talk to you.
Hear him better.
Jesus.
You sound better.
ABC 15's Craig Fooey.
All right, let's dive right to it. We do it every week. It's called Factor Fooey at ABC 15's Craig Fooey. How you doing today, buddy? What's happening?
I am doing good. Been out at Cardinals all morning, fellas. I mean, it's been the first OTA. We're just kind of wrapping up there right now.
Oh, the excitement of the OTAs, huh?
How'd you do, Fooey?
I know, right?
What was your time in the 40?
Well, I ran a 4.9, but here's the thing. When they had the media competition, I was able to bench 225 15 times, and I ran a 4.940. It had a vertical jump of 48.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good day for me.
And
absolutely. That's right.
It's exciting. It's exciting. Listen, it's exciting when you see a football on the football field and players out there in helmets. It's exciting for me. I love that stuff.
Well, you being a former football coach, it makes a lot of sense. And that's why you put up those big numbers as a sports director at ABC 15 Kansas City. Good stuff.
I'm just curious, did they sign you on the spot?
Can you we need a receiver. It sounds DeAndre Hopkins is going to be traded, at least some of the reports today.
Well, you know what else they had us do? That we caught about 6 kickoffs from the jugs machine, and I got all of them and ran 2 of them back for touchdowns. So it was really good. I think D-Hop is out of their mind. They've forgotten about D-Hop right now.
Now I think you're gone overboard with that, Coach. I think now you got. Well, here's the thing, but here's that you can now fair catch. And it looks like they want to fair catch. Get the ball 25. Yes or no? Did that go through?
Don't fair catch. I want to run them back. I want to run them all back.
Wow.
I want to get that ball and go, baby.
So you still got a couple plays left in you, huh, Philly, is what you're saying?
Heck yeah. Doesn't everybody ask Mitch that question? He'll say yes.
No, yeah.
Damn right, man.
Mitch doesn't even know how to say no. So anything.
Hey, Coach, we could become a package deal. The quarterback receiver combo.
Shoot. All right, let's get to it. 5 questions, Factor Fooey. All right, question number 1. Besides finding a new head coach, the Phoenix Suns must put a team together that will be able to compete with the Nuggets over the next few years. Not the rest of the league, but the Nuggets. Fact or phooey?
Got to get out of the Western Conference, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if I were the Suns, I'd be after Mike Malone right now. Let's go get that coach and bring him to Phoenix, right? Hey, listen, the Nuggets, they are fantastic. I'll take Eric Spoelstra, too, right? I mean, let's get any coach that's under contract. Let's try and get them. That's what everybody's talking about. Ty Lue, it's like he's under contract. And if that's the case, let's go after Mike Malone and Eric Spoelstra. Let's get all these coaches that are under contract. No, I think the Nuggets are the cream of the crop right now. And clearly you've got to compete with the best teams in the West, and they are clearly the best team right now. So, and they've got a good roster. So I would say that's a yes, a fact.
All right, Coach, losing my second question. The Suns must do everything in their power to trade both CP3 and DeAndre Ayton. Fact or phooey?
Fact. Easy questions today. Easy questions. Yeah, I think you listen. Chris Paul is 38. He'll be 39 next May. He's breaking down. He's a Hall of Famer, no question about it. He'll be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But it's the end of a career, just like like other players are retiring, like Carmelo Anthony. It's going to be close for Chris. I know he still wants to play. He still wants to compete at a high level. And then DeAndre is a guy that you've got to find somebody or somewhere that can get the maximum out of him, because you're just not getting that effort out of him day in and day out right now.
Well, let me follow up with that. If they have a new coach, would that make a difference? Because it was obvious that DeAndre Ayton and Monty were never on the same page.
No, because if you're a basketball player, I'll say phooey on that. Because if you're a basketball player or an athlete of any kind, and you're not competing at the highest level, no matter who the coach is, there's something wrong with you.
Fair
you're
enough.
A max contract guy, right? You need to be competing every day at a high level.
All right, factor phooey, and we're going from the hardwood to the ice. It is for the benefit of the National Hockey League that the Coyotes find a place and stay in Arizona. Fact or phooey?
Well, that's a fact. Everybody knows hockey players in the NHL love playing golf.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to play golf but in Arizona? I mean, listen, traveling in the wintertime to Arizona and you get a couple days here, I mean, yeah, you're going to go out and play golf. I mean, where would you rather be? Certainly don't want to go to Canada where there's no golf. So, yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're a big market number 11 in terms of television now, fourth or fifth largest metropolitan area. Yeah, absolutely. This is a huge market and one that the NHL would like to stay in.
Coach, I talked to one of the Tempe City Council members yesterday. He said that they definitely want to stay. They said they've got close to 12 sites. As you heard that, the 12 potential sites, and now they're going to Joe Q Public. Where would you like to see them play? Being the Coyotes put that out.
Yeah, I saw that over the weekend. They've got like Scottsdale, Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, and 70%, I think, return was on Scottsdale, 75%, something like that. And then they put out the Rick Astley song, we're here to stay, never going to give you up, never going to let you go.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy right now what they're doing, but I don't know where they'll end up. I just hope they do end up here.
Yeah, I think we all would agree. All right, question 4 with ABC 15's Craig Fooey. The D-backs can now be considered legitimate contenders for the National League West. Game and a half out.
Fact or phooey?
Have fact, absolutely. Listen, obviously Manuch was watching our sportscast last night.
It doesn't say against his prep.
Can't believe you got at least 3.5 minutes last night. What the hell's going on over there?
That was almost 5 minutes, brother. So listen, when you're a game and a half back of the Dodgers, you're the third best team in the entire National League, right? You're 2.5 back of the Braves, a game and a half back of the Dodgers. I mean, we're talking about the end of May here, fellas, right? We're late in May, and the D-backs are playing really good baseball, and they don't give up. They've won a ton of series, and that's what they say in baseball. All you have to do is win the series. You don't have to win every game, but win a series. And they've done a great job, and they're playing it with small ball, right? They're just, and it's not like they have the best pitching staff in the entire league, but they're doing it at the plate. They're doing it on defense. I love this team. They're fun to watch, and Lavella's getting max effort out of everybody out there.
And Coach, you look at you look at the young rookie out there. He's got 7 dingers, 13 stolen bases, and playing a damn good outfield. That being Corbin Carroll. I mean, you got to watch him. He's probably leads off for maybe Rookie of the Year, at least for now. But in jinx him, but at least he's one of those guys in the lead.
No, this team is. I'm telling you, this team is really good. They're fun to watch. They got a lot of young guys. that are playing really good baseball. They don't give up. Ketel Marte has got like a 21-game streak for getting on base. You've got all these guys stepping up yesterday.
3 minutes.
Christian Walker that came through. Dominic Fletcher. How about Dom Fletcher, man?
Yeah.
Another young guy that's just doing great stuff on the diamond. So I again, Corbin Carroll mentioned your guys, but they're all playing good baseball and they like each other and they're fun to watch.
Coach, I'm going to go back to something that you referenced just about a couple of minutes ago. No, it was solid. I want to get your reaction to it because you talked about the size of the Phoenix Metro, number 11 now in TV, and what did you say, fourth or fifth?
Fourth or fifth market size.
Fourth or fifth largest metropolitan. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So does that mean that Phoenix can no longer use small market teams?
Well, I think so, but I know they continue to say that about Phoenix. You know, it's a small market team, that, you know, in baseball and all that stuff. But I think that has more to do with how deep the pockets are of the owners. And so I think it's time to say goodbye to that. But I know nationally they'll still say it because of New York,
2 minutes.
Chicago, L.A., San Francisco, right? Philadelphia. They'll still say a small market team, but I think you're mid market. I guess they use now. But I think it's time to say goodbye to that. We're going too fast.
All right, Coach, last one for you. It is vitally important the Cardinals put together some kind of competitive vibe into their locker room with the beginning of OTAs this week, or sign one Craig Fooey immediately. Factor Fooey.
Hey, listen, I will say this, guys. We were obviously out at practice, and Gann just talked a little bit ago, and I like Jonathan Gann, man. The guy, he's upbeat. He's got energy. He comes into the room. He remembers media members' names. He answers the questions straight up. He's high energy. He's got something that, you know, it's kind of fun. It's contagious because he's kind of fun to be around. Now, I know it's day one of OTAs, and I know we're a long way out from the season where they might start 0-5. Things can change, but right now he's creating that.
1 minute.
The coaches, everybody's upbeat. There's a lot of the guys are excited to be out there. I think there's some buyout. I like it.
As always, buddy, we like having you on. So thanks for the time, buddy. Have a good
anytime. See you guys.
It's ABC 15's Craig Fooey at OTAs. He'll have a full report tonight. And NHL, so we'll dive into that. Plus, if we have a little bit of time, we'll get into our random fact today, brought to you by Valley Shea, and a chance for you to win a 75-inch smart TV. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
CAC Sportsbook and Sportsbook.
Every Monday at 2:45 to kind of give us an update on how things went the weekend and looking ahead as we got some NHL and NBA playoffs. But as we know, he is one of the only massholes we allow on the show. Rock says affectionately.
Appreciate it.
But he is a smart masshole. Yeah. All right, he's a smart masshole, so which is good because he knows that his Boston Celtics were not ready for the fight against the Miami Heat, and even took the Heat on take the points on Saturday. As I was tuned in, listening to you give your opinion on that.
Wow,
but he did that on purpose because he went to a sports book. Wow. So he wanted everybody to come in and put all the money on the Celtics, which they did, didn't they? They went the opposite of you.
Yeah,
because they figure you're doing it on purpose so the book makes money. You don't want them to bet Miami, right?
Yeah, they faded me twice. I gave out the Nuggets and the Heat. We got full of Lakers and Celtics.
Wow,
really? So what were the spreads at game time in those two games?
For game time, Lakers were -6 for game 3.
Okay,
and then for the Celtics yesterday, they ended up going up to -4.5.
That's incredible.
Now, were people chasing in halftime, or do you see people chasing? Trying to, maybe get in second half bats.
Oh, big time! When the Celtics were down the 15 or the 16 at halftime, everybody took Celtics -6.5 second half, and then throughout the third, fourth quarter, we kept getting live bets coming in. We had people taking Celtics anywhere from +17 all the way up to +25.5.
Wow!
Where we pretty much ended it. Heat, of course, win by 26. So all Celtics money wiped out.
So if you would have told somebody, "Hey, -25," and if you take it, but they lose by 20, you're still going to win.
Yeah,
you're still going. That's incredible.
It's frustrating because I was on the Heat, but I didn't put a lot of money on it because I was just I put $10. I was small, stuff, but I so mad because like 4.5, right?
Yeah,
and I was just like, they're going to win at home. I mean, come on, they're just playing so well, and no one can seem to figure out Brown and Tatum why they are not playing at the level they should. So let me ask you this: as a Celtics fan, with all the talk today is, all right, does the coach go, or does Brown go, or does Tatum go, or a combination of both, or?
I mean, I think it's definitely a combination of both. I mean, I think the coach is a major issue. No idea when to call timeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched even yesterday's game, they called timeouts. The coach isn't even saying a word. You got Horford coaching the team.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? Missoula's just hanging out. It's terrible.
So Missoula, you think will be out? I mean, it seems like you can win all the games in the regular season, you get fired.
Yeah.
It's so. I just put this 1 year. I don't know if they'll pull a guy after 1 year.
But like with Monty Williams, the way they lost or the way they're losing, doesn't speak volumes to him being way in over his head. But I mean, you talk about that third quarter. You thought they'd come out, guns a-blazing. Only scored 17 points.
Yeah.
They outscored 32-17 in the third quarter. Game, set, match at that point, Casey.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And just like you're talking about that, we had people coming in fire in second half, -6.5. And I actually heard a stat today I thought was crazy. Through the whole playoffs, Jimmy Butler has made more mid-range jump shots than Tatum and Brown combined.
Wow, that's incredible.
All right, Nuggets-Lakers tonight.
Yeah.
3-0 lead by the Nuggets. Where it's in Los Angeles. What's the spread currently, and where are people leaning?
Spread on that right now is Lakers -3. Totals at 225. So far, we've had a lot of people lean on the Nuggets. I mean, tonight, I think the Lakers have to win, especially for the NBA.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you have 2 sweeps, what are we, 10 days before the finals?
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. That's unfortunate.
But you can't, they have to program in for all their television partners. No one would have thought that these would have been 2 conference finals that turned out to be sweeps.
Isn't it interesting that we've all said, everybody, the NBA is looking forward to, wink, wink, the Lakers winning tonight's game. And we had Charles Barkley on earlier from a clip from this weekend talking about, it's this team's getting all this done. That could be interesting how it plays out. How the NBA, I'm not going to say fixes, but how things lean toward the Lakers in tonight's game with the officiating. Everybody's talking about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I mean, I just can't see them not letting both series be sweet.
Is Tim Donaghy ready to come out of retirement? Officiate tonight's game.
All right, let's turn our attention to the PGA Championship with Brooks Koepka winning. I heard you have some kind of intriguing information from the PGA Championship.
Yeah, so I mean, we had a good week in the NBA. Obviously, PGA actually was a good week for the bettors. We had a lot of action actually on Brooks Koepka to win. He started off as 22-1, so $100 you'd win 2,200.
Wow!
And then we also had a lot of action on Victor Hovland as well. He was 35-1.
Did you get any action at all on some guy named Michael Block?
No, we didn't get anything on him. But what a great story that was.
Do you think you will, since he's going to play at the Colonial this coming weekend?
So we'll take a flyer.
Sure.
Yeah,
Take a flyer on him?
Yeah, of course.
So can you bet with the book? Can you bet finish in the top 15 or top 20? How do people typically, other than the odds, like Koepka,
Yeah, so for a majority of the golf tournaments, it'll be just outright winners people bet. But when you get to the majors, a lot of people bet outright winners, top 3, top 5, and all the way through the top 20.
So who decides that if, okay, you have a tournament coming up this week and the field is really strong? Would they sometimes, would the book decide, okay, hey, we are going to maybe handicap it like a major, or is it just strictly majors that you guys will do that?
No, we do it on all events. I'm just saying strictly for bettors. A lot of them normally just on the regular tournaments.
Kind of like horse racing. People are only betting the 3. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, take me to the ice, because these games, and I love playoff hockey in the NHL, and these games have been nuts, going overtime and 4 overtimes. So how do you guys then set lines?
Puck line.
For the NHL.
So we pretty much lines through like all of our odds. We get a consensus. Fair market odds. So we normally do our odds based off of those two places, Pinnacle and
we're at commercial break, so no one can hear us. So those are the wise guys, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
Don't believe him. We're not.
and last but not least, Casey, your Boston Red Sox are coming in town against the Diamondbacks. Odds on right now for the Red Sox. Any early lines as far as that's concerned here at the Sportsbook?
No, we usually do odds about 2 days in advance. So the Red Sox come in. Is it Thursday?
They had off Thursday. They'll Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We'll have odds for that on Thursday for that.
So you'll be 3 minutes on that one?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Friday night, your Sox are in town.
Let's go. Let's get a win.
Yeah,
there you go. They're struggling.
4th place right now. And I mean, who would have thunk the Orioles would be off to the races like they are? I mean, as well as the Rays.
Tampa Bay,
jeez.
The whole AL East is unbelievable.
The Yankees are starting to turn on. They won 4 in a row, and I think that division is outstanding. I mean, you could just pull somebody in the Central. I mean, the Central is just awful. I mean, the Twins are leading that.
Minnesota.
They would be in last. They would be tied for last in the East right now.
Yeah,
at 25 and 22, which the Blue Jays are.
I'm real curious. Do you get a lot of action on baseball during the summer?
Yeah, pretty much. When all the other sports die down, we get a lot of baseball.
Okay.
That's pretty much what everybody shifts to until like August. Then we'll start to see a lot of action on, preseason NFL, which is crazy. But
Did you see any action on the
2 minutes
the summer league in Vegas with the over in Vegas with basketball NBA with all those games going on with the kids coming in?
Here and there, not too much, but
but they got action on those games.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are folks that are bored looking for something.
They are looking for that.
If you think that's bad, we take action on KBO baseball.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, Korean baseball.
Yeah.
Ever since COVID, when that was the only thing that they aired,
right. Yeah,
we get a lot of people that come in and bet that now. So
good stuff.
Pretty
that's
funny.
Great,
Casey. Thank you, buddy. As always,
Absolutely.
appreciate that. That's Casey here from the Casino Arizona CAZ Sports Book. Yeah, he talked about that baseball league. I mean, that Scott Spreitzer joins us on Fridays. That's how he made a living in that. It's betting on that baseball because that's all he had in the Korean League. Our Chevy random fact of the day: a restaurant in Philadelphia is selling a $700 cheeseburger.
What?
Yeah, it's a Japanese Wagyu beef topped with truffles, caviar, lobster meat, Irish cheddar cheese, and the top
1 minute. 1 minute
in an edible gold leaf.
Oh man!
What's interesting about this place? I don't have the name of it in Philadelphia.
Okay.
But if you go in there for happy hour,
you
can get like a no frills cheeseburger for $2.95.
I'm all over that happy hour.
I'd be fine with giving 350 of those. Right? That would have been fine. Hey, coming up, Tim Kempton will join us, get his thoughts on the Suns' new head coach. We'll also catch up with Frank Sanders. We'll talk to him about the the latest on DeAndre Ayton and the trade rumors that are circulating today, because he didn't go to the OTAs. He did a podcast instead, which gave us some content that we will provide to you next. Also, one more quick random fact of the day. You know, the original title of Michael Jackson's hit Thriller was going to be Midnight Man.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight Man.
I knew that one.
Hour number 3 is coming up. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no
You guys are hot.
valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
I don't know if it's the top story, but I think it's one of the coolest stories that we've heard in a long time. I think the NFL has finally figured it out. Well, they have announced that they have a new host venue for the 2025 NFL Draft. And that is, boys,
the Green Bay Packers?
Lambeau Field.
That's it.
Great
How
venue.
awesome is that going to be to have the draft at Lambeau? It's the second oldest stadium in the National Football League. It's the home of the Ice Bowl, the instant replay game, the 96 NFC Championship game. And I think that's outstanding. Next year is going to be in Detroit. 2016 will be in Chicago. Hopefully it'll come here. I think Minnesota's going to get it one day. So they're going to make a little run in the NFC North for a while, I guess. But Lambeau Field will be the home, and I think that's great from a draft that for – go ahead, Jimmy. You got to talk. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to.
You figure you're ready to go.
I was waiting for you.
No, I mean I could go on and on. I haven't used up all my word count numbers for today. I got a lot of stuff to say.
He's ready to jump in, Rock.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was just going to reference the fact that after what they have done when they started doing this in an outdoor facilities in different cities, and now they've decided that they can encompass that even more by having it at a team's stadium. I think it's going to be absolutely fabulous. I really do.
As long as they have a contingency plan if it snows. It's still, Manuch, you played there.
Yeah.
In April, it can still get cold.
Yeah, it can.
It get real cold.
Real cold. I envision maybe like they did with Chicago, that big canopy there by the lake. And I don't know how long that canopy can be if they can have all those people, all the players housed there underneath. But still, if you block the snow or rain, it's still going to be damn cold.
It will be.
But, okay, that's the elements. That's a chance you take.
Yeah.
And Lambeau Field, that might add a little something to it. But as long as you got a canopy, a large venue over the top of that field, not so much top, but built up, that you can put all those folks in there. And then the fans are in the stands. They just, are on the field. However they're going to set that up. But I'm sure something like that, it'll be jam-packed, sold out. Could you imagine 60,000 people showing up at Lambeau for the NFL Draft? It could happen.
Look, I'm telling
And if you're a Bears fan, don't go. Just don't go. Just don't go.
No. It wouldn't be
won't be safe.
Didn't they have like 100,000 show up in Kansas City? Wasn't that 300,000?
The year in Nashville was 250.
It was close to 300. They figured 300 to 350 came in for it. But we were down there along Broadway, the street. There were 250, they said, on Broadway and are surrounding the stage.
Right.
And the police said, Rock and I tested some of the police that said not one incident that they had during the entire 2 days of the draft in that area.
Wow.
Now, there's a ton of unmarked police cars, police officers all over the place. It's kind of known that, hey, guys, behave yourself. And it was phenomenal. I mean, 250 on the street.
Wow.
Stay with the NFL. The owners are meeting this week, and according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, the controversial scheduling rule that would allow the NFL to flex Thursday night games in the latter half of the season in order to get some more eyeballs, because Amazon didn't do very good last year, passed. So it was passed 24-8 after initially failing to pass back in March. Giants, Jets, Packers, Bears, Raiders, Lions, Bengals, and Steelers all voting against it.
That's interesting, because those are teams that are pretty much there year in, year out. Why they would vote against them? I think that they're thinking of their fans, because once the schedule's set.
Yeah, we talked about that Friday, I think, or Thursday. It was the fact that if you're buying tickets to take your son or your daughter or wife, girlfriend, whomever, or other way around, and all of a sudden they change it to a Thursday from a Sunday, and you can't go because of work or school or whatever, that's a disservice. Yeah. And I know they give you, 15 days, but maybe
still,
you need more than that. Especially, these games aren't cheap. You're dishing out, a few $100s a ticket.
Mm-hmm. Well, on top of that, you get your tickets early enough to get a cheaper ticket, and then if you got to make a change, the change costs, plus now you're going to pay the higher price.
Oh, you're talking about airfare.
Airfare, yeah.
No, I'm not talking about airfare. This is more for the local.
No, I know
the
that
ticket costs.
But I think some people, like to take trips to go back and watch the Steelers.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to go take a vacation, all of a sudden you got to flip it. You instead of going in on Saturday, you got to go in on a Wednesday, and then you got to change costs. It's just a lot of minutia to deal with when you do something like that.
How did we know he was going to drop minutia in there?
Anytime I get the chance, I'm going to drop that bad boy in there.
That.
Absolutely.
Manuch.
So earlier we talked about it. We're going to talk about a little bit more at Frank Sanders at the bottom of the hour. But in lieu of taking some time and going to an OTA today, DeAndre Hopkins appeared on the I Am Athlete podcast, and he had a lot to say. At one point, he was asked about which quarterbacks he'd like to play with, ranking them 1st through 5th. Guess who didn't make the list?
Kyler.
Yes, correct. He started with Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen, followed by Jalen Hurts. 3rd went to Patrick Mahomes. 4th, Lamar Jackson. And they finished it off with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, teams that are looking to hopefully win a Super Bowl have a very good shot of not only winning their division, but going
all
into
those
the Super
teams
Bowl.
you mentioned.
Absolutely.
I mean, Ravens, I don't know if they're
Well,
are they Super Bowl champions material?
Well, if they added a DeAndre Hopkins to Odell Beckham with Mark Andrews at tight end, plus their defense having a solid running game, absolutely they do. But I think that you look at the Bills, you look at the Chargers, obviously the Chiefs, we know that. So the Chiefs,
Eagles, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah. Eagles and Chiefs are the two given. But for the Chargers and the Chiefs will be there, but the other ones that aren't there, the Ravens and the Bills. On top of that, Bills I think have underachieved from going to the Super Bowl, but they did lose a coin toss in an overtime that prevented, I think, that year as the Chiefs went that year.
You can't go there. You can't go there. You just can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
You should always have a chance to. You should always in the National Football League.
That wasn't the rule at the time.
Okay, but they should be at the time. Here's the thing: they should have made that years ago. Everybody have at least one shot in the AFC NFC title game to have that, and that's a dumbass rule. They should change that.
It is, but it was the rule.
I get it, understand, but I'm just saying, Jimmy, they were one coin toss away from the potential of going to the Super Bowl.
I got another BS rule that may go into effect tomorrow. That's the fair catch rule, where the ball would be spotted on the 25-yard line after a fair catch on a kickoff. Do you like that rule?
Let me think about that for a second. Spotted at the 25.
So a lot of special teams players, coordinators, they're very much against this. Nobody likes this rule, but it may go into effect tomorrow.
Well, the one thing I wish we saw more. I wish it was the kickoff back, so we saw more kickoffs, opportunities to score on the kickoffs. Move it back. They moved it up. So guys are kicking out of the end zone every time. It's basically the NFL's taking the kickoff out of the game of the National Football League. And I think it's wrong. You got to have – that's a play where if you have a chance to get it, whether it be on they kick it to the 20, the 10, have a chance to bring it out of the end zone. They kick it through the end zone. At least they catch it at the 5 or goal and have a chance to go ahead and return it. This whole thing about injuries and this and that, okay, if that's what you're going to do after every score, let's just start at the 25-yard line. If you're going to do that, how exciting is that for the National Football League?
It sounds like that's what's going to happen.
It does.
Yes, it does. That's exactly right.
It's very fortunate that the National Football League is taking bits and pieces out of its game, which I think are exciting pieces out of a game. For example, Dev Hester returns a kickoff in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you.
All the way for a touchdown against the Colts. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, just in general, I mean, it always gives your team a shot.
Absolutely.
On a kickoff return.
Yeah. But Manuch, you said it. You said that the reason they're doing it is because it is considered to be the most dangerous aspect of the NFL.
Football's dangerous.
It is. I know. It's a contact
I mean,
sport.
What the hell's next? We put flags on guys?
Just be honest. You former football players, it's 11 minutes of actual action. The entire game.
It's
11
the
minutes.
best 11 minutes of actual action you'll ever watch. Sunday afternoon.
Hand the ball off, run. Okay.
It's also the most.
There's 30 seconds.
It's also the most physical 11 minutes of actual action we'll ever watch.
So, Jimmy, him and I, we've been at this almost 19 years.
Yep.
And one debate that we've had over years, which and he doesn't smoke pot, and is because he's high on this one.
Never inhaled.
He's high on this one. I'm going to the dead tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
So
get a nose hit for
he
me.
He thinks that the NFL is man. I need to
by far more than the National Hockey League. By far
than the NHL.
By far.
They play 80 games in the NHL,
and they're on ice, and they're skating at 100 miles an hour.
And sometimes they play back-to-back games.
Guys, you'll never miss arguing because there's contact on every play in the National Football League. Contact. They avoid contact on the ice.
Contact on every skate.
Okay. There's not checks
on the punt.
There's not checks going on in the National Hockey League every play. There might once in a while there's a check. There are car wrecks on every play in the National Football League with all 11 positions, maybe except quarterback. So that's 22 wrecks every play for 11.
And there's NFL play when they break a nail, they're out game.
No, that's
the NFL. You get right back.
Nothing more physical than the National Football League, period, end of sentence.
But you have 11 minutes of live action. It's all you have in the National Football League. I'm not going to argue it's not a train wreck. Maybe half that time. Car wreck. Yeah. I mean, maybe half the time. But on kickoffs, punts, and all that, there's a couple. There's a little hit.
No.
Nothing like running on skates or a puck flying by you at 100 miles an hour.
Both of you guys go down the sideline and watch an NFL game.
Dude, go sit a Yotes game front row.
I have. Yeah, but those guys aren't checking.
Have you ever been on skates?
Oh yeah,
I played hockey.
I played hockey.
Okay, so you can't.
Yeah, but they don't. How often are those guys hitting each other every play?
Yes.
No,
they are. Oh my gosh.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Are you watching the same thing?
There might be one or two guys checking on every line.
Watch tonight.
There's 5 guys out there against each other with the goalies.
I get it. But the Football League, there are contact after contact. 11 minutes.
So being on ice and all that's not.
No. You guys will never win that argument.
You'll never win that argument.
Manuch, in the NFL, does anybody get hit in the ankle or the leg with a frozen piece of rubber at 100 miles an hour?
No, they get hit with the helmet at 100 miles an hour.
No, they're not 100 miles an hour. Come on. The speed of the game is completely different between the NHL and the NFL.
You guys,
we're not arguing that the NFL is not physical. It's not as physical as the NHL.
Guys, please. I've been there and done that. I've seen how physical
I get it, but you haven't done the other. So you are only going by what you know. You said you've never been on skates playing the game.
Okay, I've watched enough hockey. Their cardiovascular might be better. I'll give them that. That's the only I'll give the National League as far as over the NFL. NFL, it is a freaking car wreck every time for 11 minute. I'm telling
11 minutes.
Yeah.
In the National Hockey League,
they go 1 minute at a line, right? Every line goes 1 minute apiece, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
but the game doesn't stop. You don't go into huddle every friggin' 30 seconds. Let's huddle up and take a breath, and then let's play another down.
There's no offense and defense. It's transition, constant transition for 20 minutes every period. Every period is 20 minutes.
Besides a new head coach for the Suns, what kind of players do they need to help, and to Manuch's point, to get past the Nuggets?
Damn right.
With Tim Kempton, we'll talk to Frank Sanders in about 20 minutes. Maybe we'll ask that question because he played at the high level in the National Football League as well. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B for the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona here on Fox Sports 910.
Casino, Arizona is a sports fan's paradise. You are locked in to Fox Sports 910, live from CAC Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Just keeping everybody in the moment, not letting it slip away. You need 16 wins to win a championship, and we got 5 more to go. The Lakers are in our way, and they're going to do everything in their power to come back and fight. They're not going to just lay down and let us beat them, on their home floor. So, we know next game's going to be another test. They're going to come more aggressive. AD's going to be more aggressive. Tomorrow's going to be more aggressive, so Kyle's going to be more into it. So we know it's coming, and we just got to stay locked in and know that we can do it. And we have full belief in that. And like I said, we got 5 more to go.
That's Murray of the Nuggets as playoffs continue tonight, as they will take on the Lakers in Game 4, and they're hoping to complete the 4-game sweep. It's in Los Angeles, and we know Los Angeles plays well at home, but that wasn't the case the other night. Miami Heat, they're 1 win away from their second trip to the NBA Finals, and in the last 4 seasons, as they took care of the Celtics 128-102 yesterday in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they have a commanding 3-0 series now. As Vincent erupted for 29 points while knocking out 6 shots from 3-point range to lead Miami in the win. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum combined for 26 in the loss. No team in NBA history has come back from an 0-3 deficit in the postseason, and I believe that's 149 straight. So I think you could say 150 and 151 now. Too.
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy. You may recollect this. Have we ever seen in an NBA Finals where there's 2 teams down 0-3 at the same time in the annals of the NBA history? I mean, I can't recollect where somebody just hammers somebody. They've either gone 4 or 5, mostly 6 or 7 games.
I don't remember.
And knockdown, drag-out games.
I don't remember both conference finals being 4-0, 4-0. I'm sure maybe it has happened, but I don't recall it in the last, recent history at all of the NBA. And to be honest with you guys, I'm stunned by the poor play of the Boston Celtics.
That's I get the curiosity factor. You're down. You're basically down. 61 to 46 at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's game, set, match.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win that game in Miami with the way the prowess of this Miami Heat team is playing. But I think one of the things that you looked at is how a team can look so good one night and so disheveled the next 2 games. I mean, Jimmy, not even competitive. You lose this game by 26 points.
Right.
You're like, where did that get away from itself? That's the thing you question.
Tim Kempton now joins us here on Fox Sports 910. How you doing, buddy? What's going on today?
What's going on, boys? How's everything going there?
Going good. Just trying to kind of talk through these Eastern and Western finals, which has been kind of blowouts, or not all blowouts, but both 3-0. But get your thoughts. A lot of talk. We're talking about DeAndre Ayton. What do you think, if and when he gets moved, what should they get in return? I mean, do you want picks, or you want somebody, you want bench guys that can make an impression right away?
You're getting rid of him? Has he been traded yet?
No, I'm just, it's dog days of summer, Tim. You got to work with us. Dog days of summer. We need content.
Play along.
We need content.
Play along.
We need content.
Rumors have it. Sources say, Tim.
Give me some shooting and give me some rebounding.
Okay.
You got to remember that this guy's averaging a double-double in his career, 18 and 10. So you can talk about what you want, and that's always been my thing. Listen, I understand he has faults, but then tell me who you want in return. Tell me what you want out there. Right now, it seems like 3-point shooting. The Suns, you had guys, but they just didn't seem to be consistent. Terrence Ross, Damian Lee, Landry Shamet, all these guys got hot at one point or another in the season, but they weren't someone that you consistently go on. Can you get some rebounding and a draft pick or 2? Listen, somebody's going to like him. I understand, he's been a whipping boy here in Phoenix for a while, but there's not too many guys in the league that are getting 18 and 10. They can jump out on and switch on the smaller players. He runs the floor very well. I think it's more, That's why I've said to a lot of people, tell me who the next coach is, and then I'll tell you if I want to trade DeAndre Ayton or not.
All right, that's exactly where I was going to go. We all know that last summer that the coach, Monty, and DeAndre Ayton never spoke. So the tension was there throughout the entire season. Now that coach is history, and now Ayton, in your estimation, you're thinking that he might even perform better in a Suns jersey with a new voice as the head coach.
Well, here's the thing. If you get, I mean, what is it? He averages 18 and 10 on 8 touches a game. Can you run some more, screens? Can you run a back pick from him on that high pick into the low post? Can you get him moving in and around the basket? Is there are there things, which I think there are, that you can do to get him more engaged? And if he's more engaged on one end, then all of a sudden his energy and his engagement, and someone that is obviously talking to him, someone that he feels has his back, then all of a sudden you play a little bit harder on the other end, and then he becomes a 20 and 12 guy that plays hard every night, and you're like, wow, that's a pretty good player. And you got to remember, he's still young. He's still young. You guys are seeing it, but big guys tend to take a little bit longer. And then you go back even further. DeAndre Ayton was not one of these high school phenoms that's been playing basketball since the 8th grade. He didn't play competitive basketball until he got to the high school level. So he still has some maturing to do as a basketball player.
Tim, it seems as though that everybody's going to be chasing the Nuggets, at least for the next couple, 2-3 years, because it seems like they'll probably pretty much extend up a lot of their guys. So when I think about all this chatter about CP3 and DeAndre Ayton, my first thought is, okay, what are the Suns going to do to be able to compete and keep up with the Joneses, i.e. the Denver Nuggets, in order to compete with them to try to win a Western Conference final? I think that's what I'm looking for as a fan is, what are they going to add or delete or whatever to keep up with the Nuggets? Is that kind of the thought process that should be in that GM's office right now?
No, I don't think so, because you guys know it's really tough to repeat. A lot of things, and you know this. Not only you have to play well, but you got to get a little lucky. So listen, Denver's going to be good. But if you go about your business thinking about loading up for one particular team, then you're going to fall short to another spot. So you just have to go out there and put the best product you have on the floor. So you got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant now. Let's put some pieces around them to make them more successful. They've shown to be all-stars at the all-star level. So can you find some three-point shooting? Can you find some perimeter defense so Devin and Kevin don't have to go out there and work so hard on both ends? Can you find some extra rebounding? Rebounding to be a big focal point when the Suns lost. Now, when they rebounded well, they were fine, but they just couldn't get that consistency. Can you find, another big body that just goes after it off the glass, or do you have that body there? Is it Jock Landell? Do you play a bigger lineup, alongside DeAndre Ayton? So there's definitely a lot of questions, but I don't think you try to go at your off season with one.
Denver, what you were just referencing, has a chance to eliminate the Lakers. The Lakers have not quit in this series. They have played hard. They're just not good enough with some of the pieces that they have to beat Denver. In your estimation, is that the case tonight? Is it a sweep, or do the Lakers grab one?
No, have you talked to the NBA front office? Do they want a fifth game yet? Have you gotten that news yet?
No, we're going to call Tim Donaghy, the former official, in about an hour. We'll get his take.
Well, that'd be a good take, because Donaghy knows what other officials are on the take since the NBA threw him up. Listen, Tim Donaghy, he was wrong, but there were other officials alongside of him that were involved in that. But no, seriously, I think you're exactly right. The Lakers are just not good enough. They're not good. Denver is that much better than them, and you can just see Denver's composure. Even the other night, where the Lakers came back and took a took a 1 point lead, and then Denver just ran on a 14-2, 17-4 run on them, and the game was over. Denver, you never see them rattle. You don't see them, oh no, here, even when the Lakers make a run, or, even in our series, I thought that the Suns were always chasing the Denver Nuggets, and it's even more so now with the Lakers. It's like, you see how excited they get when they go up 1 or 2 points. It's like, hey guys, the game's not over, but that's a victory to them. Getting up a bucket or two, making a big play. Everything's over the top with the Lakers, but the game's 48 minutes long, and that's what Denver does. They don't, nothing's too high, nothing's too low. Let's just go about our business. They're going to get all excited on their home court. They're going to make a little run, but they're not good enough to hang around with us. So, they just get to that point, and then they go on that run. They get up 8-10, and the Lakers panic, and now they start taking all these 3-pointers. They take quick shots. They get out of what's comfortable for them. And then, the Denver Nuggets just go and win the game. I think they're just too talented and playing too well. They're the best team in the NBA right now.
But do the Lakers win or lose tonight?
Oh, it's a sweep. It's over.
Okay. All right. You heard it. Tim Captain. Yep. Tim, thank you as always, buddy. Have a good week. Thanks for time.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for having me on.
That's Tim Captain. He called it. Sweep tonight. Get over here to the CAZ Sportsbook. Put the bet in. It's brought to you today by All City Towing. They continue to grow. They got a bunch of new vehicles in their already huge fleet, so they need to hire. So head to allcitytowing.com. Search careers. They got full-time, part-time, all there at allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. That is the fastest way to apply, is at allcitytowing.com. Coming up next, big rumors today about DeAndre Hopkins possibly to the Ravens, to the Bills, to the Eagles. The list goes on. We'll see what Frank Sanders thinks next, as he's going to join us live from the CAZ Sportsbook. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
This is what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
ESPN reporting former Raptors coach Nick Nurse remains on the Suns' radar as a potential head coach. Wide receiver
CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is a sports fan's paradise. You are locked in to Fox Sports 910, live from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. He played 8 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
It is caught. Touchdown Auburn! Sanders caught it! Touchdown Auburn! Touchdown Auburn!
Frank Sanders joins Calling All Sports with
You guys are hot.
now on Fox Sports 910.
That's right. Frank Sanders now on the right Toyota guest line. Joins us each and every Monday. We're very appreciative for him to stepping aside from the golf course to give us a few minutes. Where are you playing today, bud?
Honestly, man, you caught me outside the office. Once I get done with this interview, I'm going to head over to the Raven Golf Course and work on my wedge and driver game.
Oh, okay. So, are you going to hit some balls? I mean, 'cause you really, if you're Michael Block as a PGA professional, you only need to hit balls like once a week, and you could get to the top 15 in the PGA Championship. So, go hit some balls, man. Go hit some balls.
And the guy says he hits a bucket of balls and he only teaches 2 people a week. That's, and then to go out and play in the PGA event this past weekend, man, was absolutely crazy. You're talking about a guy that honestly, man, has done well in the past PGA Championships. He's made it. Apparently he has some game to qualify, but to do it under that distress, man, and to do it in that moment and the way he played, you can only tip your hat off to a guy like that, man. And I'm hoping one day I get to live that dream too.
Well, Frank, if you have the money he made, which is over $288,000, at $125 a lesson, that's 2,307, lessons that he had to give to make that kind of money. So you got to take some lessons. Take some lessons. It's a lot of lessons, Frank. Damn.
Apparently, that's the advice, right? Take the lesson.
Yeah, take a lesson. So, hey, of course, golf. We love talking golf with you, but some rumors swirling around with DeAndre Hopkins today. He was on a podcast instead of being at OTAs and was asked his top 5 quarterbacks, and of course, Kyler wasn't one of them. But of course, that now leads us to all the rumors of him maybe being traded to some of those teams that the quarterbacks that play for those teams. You think he's going to be out? I mean, do you have a feeling that this is going to happen? It's just a matter of time.
I mean, when you hear your receiver just not necessarily name the quarterback he's played with over the last 2 years in Kyler Murray, you do kind of think that there's something behind closed doors that he's kind of wanting to leave the scenario. I will use my example. I mean, when I was here, I went to Baltimore, and I ended up thinking I was going to play with some veteran quarterbacks, and I had them. Anthony Wright and Chris Redmond, journeymen not at the most, but guys who were more likely backup quarterbacks, and then they finally got their opportunity. Once I got done with the season and Jamal Lewis rushed for 2,000 yards, I was like, Lord, I don't care if I come back here again.
Wow.
So I'm gonna take it in side with Andre. If DeAndre hasn't been happy, he doesn't think he's being used fully. He knows he only has a couple more seasons. 2 to 3 at best that he can really go out and just dominate in the right situation and scenario. I understand what he's saying. I think there is somewhere, I think there's some truth that he probably will be traded here in the near future.
Well, and they'd be doing him a favor because when you look at the quarterbacks of the Cardinals camp with McCoy, who's not participating, Kyler can't participate, but David Blount, Jeff Driscoll, and then Rook, Clayton Tune out of Houston. If you're a receiver, if you're one of those, even Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins, how excited can you be of what's to come down the road with those 4 individuals?
I wouldn't, honestly, I would not waste my reps with those guys because I know those guys are the guys I'll be playing with. I would do exactly what he's doing. I wouldn't show up to OTAs. They're voluntary, so we got to continue to stress that. Although this is a new offense and a new system and a new personnel, the young guys that are trying to make the team, they need to make the team. I do not need to be running reps with guys that I won't be catching balls from. So I'm okay with that. Him not being OTAs, and if Hollywood Brown didn't show up, I'd be okay with that too, because these guys have established themselves as receivers that do not need to keep running curl routes for guys trying to figure out how to get the ball out of their hand much faster at NFL speed. They need to understand the system, the reps, and put themselves in a position where they can go out and prove to this coaching staff that they deserve to be in the top 3 quarterbacks that stays on this roster. Outside of that, I mean, I'm with DeAndre. I'm somewhere in Canada doing a whole bunch of things that I probably shouldn't be doing.
You know, and I got to tell you, Frank, I mean, when you have all the starters, legitimate starters on our team, you can accomplish a lot in OTAs. And we had mini camps, you know, many years ago, but we got a lot out of it here with so many different receivers and quarterbacks going out of it. What can they get out of the connection or timing or I don't know if I'd say communication or maybe continuity with the receivers and quarterbacks, or just happenstance moving forward?
I mean, I'm gonna do a Charles Barkley. I'm equated to a girlfriend and your wife.
Nice. Okay.
If you dated a girl twice, but you wasn't married to her, she's not gonna do the same things your wife would do. That she would know exactly you needed because she was at your house all the time. That's your wife. Kyler Murray will be his wife, and he's not even there to perform with me. He doesn't know what I'm doing. So my girlfriend, they're going to give me 2 reps that might be good, but that won't be what I'll be dealing with in season. So that's just they don't need to be there, man. They don't.
3 minutes.
So done a wonderful job of parsing out practice rock. They don't have to practice like they used to practice. When we practiced, man, it was full on.
Sure.
Anything could really happen. You knew what you was getting. You knew what kind of mental reps and physical reps you were getting that was creating the continuity and the cohesiveness of a unit, offensively or defensively. Now these guys are in pass, they're in light pass, they're barely touching each other. They can only practice a certain amount of time. They can only get so many reps. And as a veteran, you can only get so many reps in the season. So right now, OTAs would be mental reps for these guys. They literally would not be practicing. And honestly, when I left the facilities, and I didn't come to OTAs and stuff like that, I got so much more training, better training that I worked on when I was at other places. When I was actually going to Brett Fisher therapy, I went to Mac Newton, and those two people literally allowed my
2 minutes.
I learned so much more than I would have learned at the facility doing OTAs.
Amazing. All right, so Kyler's at the facility because he was standing on the field today during the OTA.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you then is, if this team just stinks, and there's a good chance that it might, when he's ready, do you let him play? Or because you're 1-9 when he comes back in ready to play, do you play him?
Jimmy B, they already 1-9. God dang.
Frank wants to know where you came with the one victory.
That's funny.
He wants to know where's that one victory at, Jimmy B.
Tell me so I can bet on it.
I got you, Frank. I got you, brother.
Oh,
do you play him? Or
1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, Frank.
You have to play them because you're obligated to not just the one.
Yeah.
You're obligated to the other players that you brought in. You're obligated to the guys that are trying to find out what it feels like to be in the NFL. You're obligated to the fan base that if you could get better, then you bring the better on. You bring the better in, no matter what the scenario is. You never know what can happen in a season. If Kyler finished, they're 1-9, but then they go 8-0. The rest of 6-0 the rest of the season, 7-0 the rest of the season, then you got to look at it and say, man, there's something we can build on from there, and then that in itself would be more advantageous than to watch this team go, 1-16, and that's too hard of a pill to swallow, not just for the players or the fans, but imagine the show y'all got to do when y'all come in every Monday after watching that.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We're looking forward to it.
Hey, we were already cracking up where you were trying to find just one win. I was being generous.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, man! Look, this team, there's a lot of promise here with a lot of potential, and we're going to wait on that. The good news is that the reports I'm hearing from inside the house when it comes to management and the way the organization seems like it's going, Monty, Mike, Coach Gannon, the atmosphere is totally different than it was the last couple of years. There seems to be a good cohesiveness in the offensive room and the defensive room. You know, Jonathan is just walking through the building, man, greeting and meeting everyone and inspiring them to believe in what he's doing and what they want to do. So, I mean, behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that's taking place. I know you guys heard a little bit more that there's NC is doing something in the atmosphere like it's changing. Yeah. Of course, we don't have all our pieces. That would look initially, that would good, but I mean, as a vet, to do what a veteran needs to do, which is to get his body ready for training camp and then the season. He's got to play it from there.
Frank, did you?
I like that. And he's searching for one win.
Yes, well, there's some truth
So
to that.
you gave him a win the first two games of the season.
No, I didn't say that. I
Jimmy?
just said first 10, I thought they'd win one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, tomorrow we will be out at the Barrio Queen in Scottsdale, part of our El Bandino Tequila Yankee Tuesday. So come on out and join us from 1 to 4. We encourage you to stop by and have some incredible, authentic Mexican food from Barrio Queen and try the new Bandino Yankee Tequila. It's tomorrow, live from Barrio Queen in Scottsdale. Up next, we're going to take you back to Friday. We lost arguably one of the best professional athletes of all time. We have a nice kind of memorial on Jim Brown, so we'll play that for you for our Learner in Row one call. That's all. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, finishing up at the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
We changed the game of football with this play.
Halfback Jimmy first down. Brown picks up that and then some as he breaks loose on a spine-tingling open field gallop.
Considered by most experts as the greatest fullback ever to play the game, Jimmy's harder to bring down than a wild steer.
He redefined the limits of what a black man could be in America. Through his strength, his power, and his courage. He never stopped looking for ways to make the country better. Those of us who followed in his footsteps.
We have changed many, many lives. And as I stand here right now, our people can carry out the work. They don't need me. And when I leave here, they can still carry out the work.
You guys are hot.
Rest in power, Jim Brown. We'll keep doing the work in your name.
Yeah, that was interesting just to kind of watch a lot of it over the weekend. The NFL Network was just all over it. They did such a tremendous job, as well as all the other big networks, just kind of go back and showing some great footage for those of you that are maybe not old enough to see him, like myself. I didn't get to watch him. I mean, I was too young to really appreciate how good he was. You two, a little older than me, so you got to. But I could just only go by the one time I got to meet him in person and then have him on our show at one point. That was definitely a treat.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's the commentary, those early clips that really recognize him as the fullback.
Yeah.
In those days, and a lot of people realize he was a fullback / halfback. He ran like a halfback, but he played the fullback position.
Correct.
And then coming out of Syracuse as one of the top, if not the top lacrosse player in the nation / in the world, how adept he was. But when I think of Jim Brown, I think of the civil rights movements, collaborating with the Lou Alcindors at that time, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, and so many black activists to kind of have that equal rights and so much giving what he had, besides all the movies. And, obviously you think of the Dirty Dozen, but I think on any given Sunday, he has that as that coach and a big part of that roles that he had, and then to have so much of the time he had outside of that. Now, some of the batteries with women were some of his downfall was the other side of one Jim Brown.
Correct.
That you had to take a look at, the good with the bad. But I mean, just a phenomenal activist, and what a phenomenal running back who had a lot left in the tank, retiring at 29 years old. Hell, some guys' careers don't even get going till 28, 29 years old and have those back end years for 5 or 6 years.
Think about this, Manuch. For the longest time, Jim Brown was the all-time career rusher with over 12,000 yards. And what you just referenced.
In only 10 years.
And only 10 years in the league. And for the most part, they only played 12 games a year. That was different. It did not expand to 14 until like his last year in the league.
And they forget how good of a blocker he was.
Great.
Pass catcher.
Yes, he was.
Aside from the running. And then could you imagine if they had kept track of yards after contact for Jim Brown?
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many tackles he broke, spinning out of tackles, and then just powering over people. That's why he was a fullback. It was because of his size at 6'3". I think it was like 220 as a player. So he will be missed on and off the field. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Just you guys said it perfect there. Here's what's on tap, which is brought to you by the Roc and Manuch Lager by Huss Brewing Company, now available at the Tavern Grill in Scottsdale, which is located 80th Street East, Via Linda. Arena Sports Grill on Bell and 62nd. Upper Crust on Cave Creek Road, and the 101 just next to the Costco, and right here at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Try it for yourself. Perfect option for you if you're looking for a light beer for the summer. That's the Roc and Manuch Lager by Huss Brewing Company.
All right, guys, our state pretty rough. You get your call question of the day refers to the Diamondbacks. You can go to @Roc and Manuch to vote on this. At what point will you acknowledge the D-backs are a legitimate
3 minutes
for the National League West? Is it now, only 1.5 games back, the All-Star break, first week of September, or getting another home run hitter? Again, go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Currently, first week of September, 41.7%. What I voted, the All-Star break, 33.3%, followed by now only 1.5 games back, 16.7%, or getting another home run hitter at 8.3%. So a lot of folks, majority I should say at this point, very close, first week of September.
I'm with you, Manuch. I think if they're in it at the All-Star break, that they become maybe buyers instead of sellers, like they've always been sellers
and go get
at the
that
All-Star break?
The challenge is
Yeah.
the organization doesn't have the money to be buyers.
That's fair. That is fair.
Right? I mean, let's just be honest. It's the way they've been operating for a long time. Unless something's changing, unless all of a sudden, maybe Kendrick has sold some of his shares.
2 minutes.
And there's somebody in there that wants to spend some money. It just doesn't seem like that's who this team is or this organization is. I hope I'm wrong. I would love that all of a sudden we see him going after some big wigs. I just don't want him to go after and put themselves in the situation they have in the past where they have done some dumb deals with, the Bumgarners, and they overpay for some of the guys that are at the tail end of their careers.
Well, they're doing pretty good right now with the homegrown guys.
Yep. Yeah.
A couple moves, and I think that with this team has won 7 out of 9, and they've won 3 series in a row now, guys. I mean, 3 in a row, and only a game and a half back, so they might stand pat unless something goes completely haywire in June. All of a sudden, they're kind of in and out, but look at the Padres. They're 7.5 games back. I mean, maybe at that point, the Padres are out of it. D-backs are in it. There might be somebody willing to give up out of that Padres stash. But, again, those guys are making way too much.
Probably make more money. One guy probably makes more money than the entire salary of the Diamond.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Take Machado and Tatis Jr. combined.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Bob, Bob Melvin, Bo Mel over there. I mean, if things get any worse this team anytime soon, you wonder, with the patience of the Padres ownership, how they feel about Bo Mel as their manager if this thing gets out of whack soon, early on in the year.
By the way, I told you that what's on tap, and I tell you what was on tap.
I was just going to say, wait, Rock, what's on
D-backs
tap?
just underway in Philadelphia.
30 seconds.
Sports, so there you have it. That's all. Of course, you got Lakers hosting the Nuggets. Get ready to get their butt sweep.
What's on tap?
It's Roc and Manuch Lager.
I like it.
Roc and Manuch Lager. Hey, we'll be at Mario Queen Scottsdale tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in. We know you have choices, and we'll hope that you'll
10 seconds.
We promise we will do a better job tomorrow. So come on back tomorrow.
What was wrong with today? It was a great show.
Really?
Yeah.
Not enough time.
I'm not promising.
Valley traffic from the Valley